Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of Straight Shooting with Jim Cornette and Bobby the Brain.
You sound like the attorney comes to see you in prison. Hello everyone. You don't care about us if we go to the hot shower or die.
They're asleep already. Hello everyone, you are now in my power. You will do everything I say. Watch the pencil. Hello everyone.
Oh, you guys are off and rolling.
Well, no, you just...
Hey, well, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, that's good. We'd like to thank Ring of Honor for once again bringing us to the fine quality inn here in beautiful Chicago, where we are sitting here now.
And they're tearing this down next week, and they're building a slum.
Well, you know, the tornado came through 3 months ago, did $2 million worth of improvements.
You're kidding.
Yeah. But you know, this room is so small, Bobby, you have to step outside.
The mice are hunchback. You see him?
Yes, but you have to step outside to change your mind.
I know. They don't give you a key here. They give you sharp shoes so you can kill the bugs in the corner.
Ooh,
but it's a nice
that one's carrying my burger off. Anyway,
my bag.
Do we have to talk about wrestling? No.
We are. Dogs in all the hotels. You know, I stayed in a hotel once in London, Ontario, Canada, with Mitsu Arakawa, myself, Baron Von Raschke, Bruce Swayze, and Dick Bulldog Brower, and Dominic DeNucci in one room.
Oh my God.
It was $6. It had like 4 beds. We threw mattresses on the floor, and it had one light that hung down on a string. And on the floor, it had rope. And every 2 feet was a huge knot. And we asked the woman at the desk what that was. That was their fire escape. It was called the St. Regis Hotel. It was $6. We all stayed there. It cost us $1 a piece. Oh, it was like a ward for bums. It was the damnedest thing you ever saw.
Well, this is a fine place. Actually, it is, and it's all right.
Ring of Honor does their best to make sure that we miss those nice places.
Yes. Well, here we are again.
It's a room of honor.
Actually, it should be more room for honor. Okay, well, you can't get the ambiance of a hotel room, but
I'm going
to tell you. By the way, of course, it's early in the morning. Last night, you beat me up again. I'm sore. Everything in my body hurts.
Say at the arena.
At the arena. Well,
you're in a room.
Actually, when we got back to the hotel, and I've had the flu all week.
Yes, you have.
And last week I'm getting sick. I told Gabe this. I'll tell you this. I'm getting sick, and all you people don't count. You people count. You paid for this. I'm starting to get sick. I'm laying in bed last Sunday night. Right? It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to watch Abbott and Costello meet Boris Karloff, and in my new house, and I hear this prying and this scratching, and my bedroom window is right over my basement door. I think there's somebody trying to pry my basement door. I go out, look out the window. The lights are on, and nobody runs away or anything. Go back to bed, turn TV back up. I hear scratching and prying and digging. God damn it, there's somebody trying to get in my house. I go out, turn the outside spotlights on, look around, there's nobody there. I'm like, what the hell? Now I hear a boom, boom, boom. Take the 45 hollow point bullets out of where I keep it, you know, that place.
In your wife's home.
Yes. I'm sneaking down the stairs, right? Like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. I'm barefoot. My shoes are in the garage because it's my new house and I walk on the carpet. I'm barefoot, I got the gun, I'm looking around. All the outside lights, the doors are fine, windows are fine, nothing. Son of a bitch, I know I hear something. I'm going crazy. Go back, here's Boy Abbott and Costello. Oh, now I know I hear footsteps in my kitchen. You go out my bedroom door, there's my upstairs hallway, and then right down the stairs is the kitchen. I hear footsteps and I hear something knock over. God damn it. I come out the door with the gun, I look right down the stairs, and there in my kitchen floor is a raccoon the size of a Cocker Spaniel. How did a wild animal get in my house? It's this goddamn big.
You know, if you smoke crack in the afternoon, but later in the evening, it catches up with you.
So, I saw
a raccoon.
A raccoon.
It wasn't a midget with a midget.
No, I saw the striping things, and it didn't even put me over. It just looked at me and went, and turned left and went in my living room. I slammed the door because I don't know. Those things are mean. Yeah, you people are all Yankees, but they might have rabies. They got sharp teeth. I'm naked because I'm in bed, plus I'm barefoot. And I'm not going to go Dirty Harry this fucking thing in my brand new house, right? Because I'm not that good a shot.
So let's get this straight now. You and the raccoon are both naked.
Well, yes.
And you're both in the house.
Actually, he's got more clothes on than I do because he's got fur, whereas I shave.
Furless.
Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead.
So I slammed the door. I said, now, it's 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. What do you do when you have a possibly rabid wild animal in your house? Is this an emergency? I'm trying to process this. So I called 911 and I asked
I'll see you next time I'm in town.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
I asked 911. They said, what's your emergency? I said, I don't know. I said, now, is it an emergency if I have a raccoon the size of a Cocker Spaniel, it could be a rabbit, in my house? She said, loose? I said, yes.
Oh, no, we raise them.
No, I got it on a string. That's like when I checked into the hotel and I said, okay, I'm here for one night, thank you. And then I said, where can I park? And she said, you want to park overnight? No, I brought my car here to sell it. I'm getting rid of it in 2 hours, but I'm staying. But anyway, so they said, animal control is closed. We'll call the cops. Is this a police matter? I don't want the cops coming and seeing the layout of my house, right? I'm calling the cops on myself.
I
gotta get this thing out of
Chinese
here.
restaurant knew it, you could call. Anyway, go ahead.
So the bottom line is, here come the cops.
Guns drawn.
Now, well, no, actually batons. Now, meanwhile, I'm listening outside through the door, right, and I hear this goddamn thing walking up and down the hardwood stairs, click-clack with the nails, just having a fine old time in my bathroom.
In the shower.
Yes. With the fungus.
It's like a poodle on the floor.
Oh, God. Well, you know, he's got the kids. Yeah. Anyway. So the cop calls me on the cell phone because he don't believe it. I pick up. He said, is there really a raccoon in your house? I said, I believe it's a raccoon, but I know it's living and furry. Okay, I think it's a raccoon. I'm not Marlon Perkins here, but I'm pretty goddamn sure.
Police for Sean is your house, yes, for the weekend.
Yes, I saw a ring of bright water, so I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. That's it's too old. Anyway, can you get to the front door? I said, yes. So when they knock on the front door, I throw the bedroom door open. I got a Maglite flashlight. I turn it on, and I go, ah, to possibly scare the thing away if it's standing there, because now I'm not naked, but I'm still barefoot. Run down, open the door. Here they come. They're like, they look everywhere. Downstairs in the bar, living room, TV room, kitchen, hallway, bathroom. There's no raccoon. Now they're looking at me like, okay, this fucking guy. I said, wait a minute. I heard him going up and down the stairs. If he's not down here, the only place he can be is in my office. So as we're going up the office stairs, I got my wrestling library has been refinished. It's like 50 feet long. It's the attic. There's the attic access door over the bedroom, knocked wide open. This son of a gun is not only big enough, he has pried the attic vent off my roof, but he has Vern Gagne drop kicked the attic hatch door open that has a clasp on it and come in. So now the cops are going with the flashlights and they go in the office and there he is. They shine the beams on him. He's caught in the lights. He's climbing my brand new drapes. I paid $10,000 for this shit, right? They say, get him, chase him. They open the sliding door, they chase him out the deck, he jumps off. Now they believe me. The cops said, that's the biggest goddamn raccoon I've ever seen. So now they're at 5 o'clock in the morning. My new neighbors see me with 3 cop cars in my driveway. They're radioing everybody in Louisville, every cop they know, telling them this story. They're sitting there for 30 minutes, and I go up there. He's knocked my phone over when they were chasing him. As I'm putting that back, the damn raccoon shit and pissed all over my antique wood end table. So now at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, I'm getting the flu. I've had the cops in my house, and I'm cleaning up raccoon shit in my office. I have no finish for this. That's just what happened.
We'll be back in a moment with more Animal Talk. Right here with Marlon Perkins. Well, I didn't have that exciting a weekend. I just had a wild tiger came in the house and killed my family. Other than that, there was nothing.
There was no reason to call the authorities.
No one called you or anything. No. You know, it could have been it could have been Skylolo in your house. He was a mascot. You don't know.
Actually, he was bigger than Skylolo. This was a big raccoon. Sky was a small midget. This was a big raccoon.
Sky was a small midget.
You know, I always liked Butch Cassidy. He was the world's biggest midget. He wasn't really like a short midget. He was a tall midget. So you could kind of get by with him.
There was a guy named Pee Wee Lopez years ago. And he wasn't a midget. He was just a small Mexican guy. He was about 4'8". This is the average guy in L.A. But I mean, he was a midget, but he was like Buddy Rogers. Had a long hair, and he did the walk, but he was...
I gotta remember as a big
Andre the midget.
And
he was.
He even had long legs.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah, well, there you go.
In the back.
Yeah.
I thought it was a tail, but I don't know.
Well, I thought they had taken that off with the surgery.
Well, that was in Cleveland.
At the clinic?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Free clinic. But, you know, that was, when you say it, a small animal that was huge, people don't realize how strong a midget is, a wrestler. I mean, those guys are powerful guys. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been picked up by one, but you can just tell.
I was suplexed by Butch Cassidy.
Really?
Snap suplex, not a vertical. I wouldn't let him hold me, but he snap suplexed me by cracky.
Well, that's probably how he had to lift you. I remember we were in, I'll tell you a funny story, Paul Orndorff, who was a real tough guy.
But not a midget.
Oh, no, not any rights. But Paul played football, University of Tampa, played for the NFL, I think New Orleans or something.
Yeah, and Jacksonville for the other league.
And he's really a man.
Yeah.
He's a man. He's a tough guy. He's no gray in that life. Well, he's working for WCW, and he has to get the guys for the interviews, right? So Vader sloughs him off. This big 450-pound guy.
I'll be right there.
And he said, I'll be right there, something like that. So Paul comes back again. Paul's wearing shower shoes. Vader sloughs him off again and says something to Paul. Paul beat him all over that lobby of the, in the back room there at the Atlanta
Center stage.
And Vader was screaming on the floor, help, help. 10 years before that, we're in Kansas City at the Kemper Arena. And we're doing a deal with Hillbilly Jim and Little Beaver and Orndorff and I. Well, Little Beaver, as maybe some people don't know it, I don't know how to say this.
Was of a different persuasion or affiliation than many of us who joined the same organization or...
No, he had guys.
Okay, that's a better way to say it.
But that was his business. So Orndorff had to slam him that night. So I told Paul, I said, you know, he's a midget. And when you pick him up, they lose track of where they are. So he has a habit, he'll reach down into your trunks and hold on to you, just like a rubber. So he stabilizes his balance. Paul said, wait a minute, he ain't doing that to me. I swear, he doesn't mean anything by it. So we get in the ring, there's Hillbilly Jim, there's Orndorff and I, and Little Beaver, headdress. Beaver walks up to him and puts his hand out. Bang! Orndorff knocks him out. There's feathers all over the ring. There's little moccasins are up in the air like this, kicking. He's out cold. 400-pound Vader, 150-pound Beaver.
He don't matter.
Orndorff's the toughest guy I know.
I knew one of the guys that was in the dressing room that night at center stage when they had the altercation. It said, with Orndorff kicking him with those flip-flops on, it sounded like slapping two raw fish together, kicking him in the head. Vader, oh!
It sounded like
poor Leon. I like Leon.
It sounded like Mom's Mabley trying to sing. Blah, blah, blah. He was yelling, he was screaming. He was screaming. But this goes to show everybody, you know, you can be 6'5", 5,000 pounds. You ain't got it here, you don't have it.
And the first guy to get the good punch, it doesn't really matter anyway.
Because you get one extra. If you get the first one.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah. So Orndorff is a heck of a guy. I love Paul. He's a nice man.
The first time, actually, that I met Paul, it was in 1977 because he came to Memphis. When he trained in Florida, that was the first territory that he really came to. Yeah. And then he came to Memphis to work with Lawler for a while, and it was like, wow, this guy's body looks great, and he's doing we didn't see suplexes in Tennessee then. He's doing suplexes and everything. And
he was the U.S. Today in Tennessee.
Right.
In 1998.
Yeah, those were people still saw in black and white back then. But you could really tell he was going to be somebody. And then he went, I think, to Mid-South and worked for Watts and got polished up.
Yeah. Then he got his break in Atlanta and everything, and then WWF and main event, first WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And Paul was fun managing. He was a good guy, really a nice guy, and honest. Really like I said, no gray. He's either black or white.
He was working for me in Smoky Mountain, him and Ronnie Garvin, when he'd kind of taken time off and he'd had the shoulder thing.
I saw Ronnie in Florida.
And he still looks the same.
Yeah,
he has for 30 years, except the dark hair, but there's still as much of it, it's the same length.
He hurt me one day and didn't mean to, and didn't know I was there.
What?
We're in Green Bay. We're working out the window of the dressing room, and I'm standing behind him. So he reaches down to pull his knee pad up, and he lifts his leg like that. And he cracks me in the shin. I'm standing behind him. I said, you know, you can hurt somebody without even seeing him. But he's a good guy, Ronnie.
Ronnie used to take those job guys on Atlanta TV, not to degrade the job guys or the enhancement talent. But he'd take them and he'd have their arm...
Jabroni.
Yeah, jabroni. Their arm behind their back like that and reached up around their neck on this side, and he'd make them pick their own nose with their own finger and then put it in their own mouth. And because he could tie you up in 14 million knots, and that freestanding headbutt. So I'm in a cage in Charlotte against Ronnie, because when I got married first time...
Wait, you married Ronnie Garvin?
Well, no, I digress.
Oh, okay.
I got married the first time I went on a honeymoon. So, yeah. Dusty suspended a fireball at Ronnie Garvin. So I throw a fireball at Ronnie Garvin, burns him. Charlotte gets over, boom, boom, boom. Leave. I come back 10 days later. I find out Atlanta TV. Yeah, I got over so good. You and Ronnie Garvin is in the cage as a main event in the next Charlotte show. What?
You did.
Now I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. And the fireball, I used 4 pages of flash paper, and the thing stuck to his face, and it burned his eyebrows off, and his cheeks were red. And I called him, and I said, Ronnie, I'm sorry. He told me to throw it right in his face, right? Make it look good in that accent. So I said, I'm in a cage, so I started a write-in campaign.
That was a flamethrower, Ronnie.
Yeah. I started a write-in campaign on the promos on TV. Please save Jim Cornette from this homicidal maniac. And people started bringing posters where they had signed it, right?
You could have had a lot more posters, but you ran out of.
But I ran out of ink. Yeah. We get in the cage. And I'm like, oh, I come in street clothes, the old note from my mother excuse, that don't work. Got my arm in a sling, doctor's note, that don't work. Money, that don't work. They throw me in the cage, slam the door. Here comes Ronnie. I'm trying to climb out the cage. First thing he does, he rips my pants off. Now I'm in my underwear. And he gets on top of me and he draws back. And I'm like, oh, shit. Punches were great. Headbutts were great. I take the knucks out. I hit him. He gets color for me. I throw powder. He sells it. I get on him a little bit. He makes a comeback, finishes me off. He's standing over there. And if you've never been frightened until you've seen Ronnie Garvin with blood and powder all covering his face, standing over you. Yes, the face with the eyes. And he's drawing that big fist back. I'm like, oh, God, I wish I was Catholic so I could pray or some shit. But it was fine.
A lot of people that don't know Ronnie Garvin have seen him today. He's one of the toughest guys, and he's one of the greatest hands. And he got a break. They put the NWA belt on, but that was a short period of time.
Yeah.
That was when NWA was almost over. He should have had a break long before that, because he's one of the guys I'd want to work with every night.
Yeah.
He was just a fun guy.
He was easy. He was so easy.
And I never did work with him.
But he was scary. He was scary.
Yeah. You know the scariest man I've ever seen? The Sheik.
Yes.
The original Sheik. He's a guy that really broke me into business. And you believed him.
Yeah.
He wasn't kidding around. I remember Bachmichael told me a story. They were in the dressing room one night in Omaha in the 50s. That's when TV first took off. And some people from the Anti-Defamation Arab League or something came by, and they didn't think he was a real Arab.
Don't talk bad about the no good, dirty, stinking Arabs. That's what that league. Yeah, that league.
Like that. Sabu. So they brought these people to Omaha, and Joe Ducey, the promoter, said to the Sheik, he said, a bunch of people outside, and they don't think you're real. He sent them in here. He brought them in the dressing room. He took off on all of them, and they believed him after that. And he really was. He's from Michigan, but his family, everything was from
Lebanese.
Lebanese,
right?
And he was scary. Always had a straight razor in his trunks. He'd take it up, boom. I mean, I'm telling you. And he
You ever see those old Sheik matches where the guys run in and all the guys all of a sudden start bleeding? It didn't matter whether you wanted to get color or not. You'd get color as soon as you got in there.
It wasn't your decision. It was not your decision.
Yeah, it was totally out of your hands at that point.
But he was, to me, the best heel ever in the business. Think of this. He never did an interview.
Never spoke a word.
No, he ate your tie, but he never spoke a word.
It was on top for 30 years.
He never took big bumps. You know why? If he'd have taken big bumps, he'd have been like everybody else. But you wanted to see what would happen to him. I was selling cokes at the Armory in Indianapolis, and I would watch his car for him. He'd give me his keys. His name's Eddie Farhat. He liked to be called the Sheik. And he is the Sheik. His family's all...
Oh, he wouldn't answer to Eddie if you called him on the phone.
No, I call him Dad. He called me Punk. So that's how him and I got along. I used to watch his car. I'd go in the glove compartment. I used to read his name, where he's really from, and everything, put it back. Who wouldn't do that, right? I did it to myself the other day. I live in Florida. I didn't know that. What? At the YWCA. Anyway, Yumka.
Corner room?
No, end unit. But it's just, he was such a, you believed him, he scared you. And I used to sell cokes in intermission, and he'd charge me after the match, and I'd run so other people come up to me, and I'd sell them cokes, right?
Sympathy.
Yeah. The Sheik was a wonderful guy, but a great heel. But if he had taken bumps like anybody else, he wouldn't have been the Sheik he was.
Yeah.
You never knew if he was going to throw fire. Remember Moose Cholak?
Yes.
Moose was about a 400-pound guy who was a nice guy, but he didn't care about you. He'd always hit you like this. bang, and then you catch it underneath the pet.
Yeah,
and you
and right
bend
on the
over,
bone.
and then you bring it down behind your neck. All the time. So I say, Moose, throw me out of the ring. That's why I want to take bumps out. So Moose wouldn't get me. So if you were in the ring, he would run over and drop that 400-pound keister right on your face.
Yeah.
And it'd be peanut butter and jelly. Nothing. So
You're safer out there.
Oh, yeah. So Sheik one night has an idea. He tells Moose, give me the big squash. He's going to hold a screwdriver. Moose does it. And Moose drives the handle about 2 inches into the Sheik's lung. I said, Father, what happened? He said, you'll never see that match again. They never work again. Yeah. Why? I said, well, you've been in the business longer than me. 50-some years. You put a screwdriver in this man? Boom. That was Moose.
But that proved that Sheik was at least stronger than vampires because you couldn't kill him even if you staked him in the heart.
But he had guts. He would fight anybody. He didn't take any crap for anybody. And in my opinion, he was a great heel. Because what do people want to see? They want to see a guy sneak things. They want to see a guy be vicious. They want to see a guy bleed. They want to see action and turmoil.
Yeah.
That's what he gave them.
Oh, it was pandemonium. Every time he'd come with the snake. The people now, if you deal with the people,
hardcore guy.
Oh yeah,
everybody with fire.
Yeah, and you know, and as a matter of fact, what was proven later on was he did it too long in his own territory, and that's what, you know, because too much with too much.
He only had 20 years. I don't care who it is. Bruiser, Sheik, Roy Shires, Vern, Nanya, Vince McMahon, Tunney. Think about it. When did they come in power? It was about 20 years ago. And you only had 20
Jimmy
years.
Crockett.
You only have 20 to 25 years of ideas, then you run out of them.
Except for you and me. That's why we can still do these after all these years.
Are we on?
This is still actually with this crew. With this crew, I have no idea.
Here,
Wait a minute. Let me give you the Ring of Honor crew. Oh, sorry. That's inside. Sorry. No, you guys are wonderful. We love you. I wish you'd put your clothes back on. It's really kind of
I've never worked
embarrassing.
with a nude sound man before.
Is that the boom mic?
I don't think so. No.
This
It's a handheld.
this room reminds me of the Alamo Plaza in Shreveport, Louisiana.
It reminds me of San Quentin.
We used to stay there when we did the Mid-South Television because it's right near the Irish McNeil Boys Club. It is near Channel 3 where we did promos and everything. And they even had a Three Stooges room. They had a room with 3 beds in it. So Nikolai Volkov and Crusher Darso and one of the other heels, they would always get the Three Stooges room. But I stayed there one time. You had to stay in the front building because the back building, as I found out, had bugs. So there's 2 buildings. If you stay in the front one, it's fine. It's not nice, but it's fine. If you stay in the back one, you can't turn the lights off when you go to bed because there's shit crawling around. And they wouldn't, for some reason, cross that 6-foot breezeway to go to the other building. So I always made sure I got that one building. But the one time I get the other one, that's the night I've got to dress up. That's why I was thinking about this the other day. I got to dress up as a woman and run in the ring on Mid-South TV and hit the Rock and Roll Express with my purse with a brick in it. So, well, of course, yeah. You know, because I'm banned from the arena, so I go to Great Plains, Montana, as a matter of fact. And I went to a women's shoe store, and I concocted the story that I had to be in some kind of drama school play, and I needed women's shoes, high heel shoes that fit me, right?
The dress reduction done.
Yeah, I had that done. So I got the shoes, and I went to Walmart, and I got the big woman's muumuu dress. I got the bra so I could stuff it. I got stockings. I got clip-on earrings. I got sunglasses. I got a wig. I got the whole thing. Then I get to the room, and I realize, shit, I'm as furry as that raccoon, so now I got to shave my arms where it shows. Now I got to shave my legs. Dude, I'm bleeding all over the place. I've never shaved my arms or legs before. Finally, I get all that stopped, and they time it just perfect so that I pull up to the place where they do the TV right when the show is about to start, so all the people are already sitting down, and we went to the pains of actually walked in the high heels on the gravel, which you can't walk in, and buy a ticket. So nobody's going to, and I'm going to sit in the stands, I'm going to come with that purse with a brick in it, I'm going to knock Ricky Morton out. I didn't go 4 feet. One of those guys walked up and said, "You're not a woman. It's Jim Cornette! It's Jim Cornette!" Now everybody's pointing their face. I'm standing there wearing earrings, a fucking wig, sunglasses, a dress, high heels. I can't run. All I've got to defend myself with is a purse. I'm in the middle of 500 fans going, "It's Jim Cornette! He really is gay. Let's get him!" I'm like, "Get me Grizzly Smith now!"
Should have called Barnett.
He could have helped me with the high heels.
You had a job.
So they had to take me in the back, and I ended up, when you saw that, if you've seen it on tape, I ran in from the shower room. They put me in the shower room and said, just peek around the corner when it's time to go. And then I dive out of the ring, blow my right foot, because I forgot to kick the high heel off, and I've still got a big calcium deposit there from, if you've ever jumped out of the ring in high heels, boy, I don't know how those girls do it.
You know, I'm doing the first edition of Raw. The first time Raw went on the air, it was Sean Mooney and Vince McMahon, and they wouldn't let me in, so Vince had me dress up like a woman. I was like 250, 60 pounds then, right? And I've got this weird...
Isn't this bizarre that you're talking to two men who have both publicly on national television dressed as women? I'm sorry.
In New York City, on 33rd Street. I'm walking around with a phony bra and a wig on. So I'm trying to get in the Manhattan Center. That's the whole gimmick. They won't let me in. I'll tell you, I don't know how you women do it, but when there's a breeze coming down the street and you're wearing a dress and it's October, I'm telling you, it's just a little nippy. But you know, it was fun to do stuff. It's fun to dress up and do stuff like that. It's not fun to be a woman.
It's fun to be with a woman. I don't know what we're trying to say there.
But, you know what I mean? It's too much stuff to put on.
Well, when they started Shotgun Saturday Night, they brought the Mexican midgets in, and they had a little Vader who I managed against little whoever. Maybe you remember, I don't know. But anyway, so somebody thought that it would be a wonderful thing for both the midgets to turn on me and push me down and pull my pants off. So maybe they work pants differently in Mexico. I don't know. But first of all, I had to keep them unbuttoned because they couldn't figure out how to have the apparatus, and I'm trying to help them. They push me down, and as they go, and I've got the big boxer shorts with the big red hearts on them. They chase me right out the back door. And as I'm going out the back door, I realize, wait a minute, I'm going to have to go all the way around the block because they follow me with the camera until I turn right. But then I can't go back in that side because that's where the people are. So I had to, this was January. I'm in red boxer shorts out on a street in some neighborhood of New York, I have no idea where, running around the block with big red hearts on my ass. And, because a midget just pantsed me on television. Why am I doing this? I don't understand.
Remember with WCW when Eric Bischoff
unfortunately, yes,
brought those midgets from Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And they had a Mexican midget battle royal. He said, Bobby, don't say anything off color about them. Now, he doesn't understand the Bobby Heenan character. You got 12 Mexican midgets in masks. One's dressed as a pirate, one's an owl, one's a tugboat, one's Bambi, one's Little Bo Peep, and I can't say nothing because Bobby Heenan. He says to me,
great hammerlock there.
I said, what if I say something? He said, well, there's a group of people, I guess a midget group, that they'll write in. I said, they can't reach the slot to put the letter in. He said, don't say nothing. So I get out there and right? I said, it looks to me like a riot at a daycare center. What else are you going to say?
Can you imagine if they had Mexican women midgets? Then you could get 3 groups on you at the same time.
Boy, they'd be climbing up one leg and down. They'd have to have a traffic cop. Yeah. I mean, it's stupid. And then he says, yeah, we don't want to insult them. I said, you want to make some money here? You bring 20 Mexicans over the border every time and put masks on. Why don't you just bring in 4 guys and keep 20 masks? You're not going to know the difference. Right? But it's different. Yeah.
When you were still managing in WWF, WrestleMania 3 was the whole entrance and the thing with the carts and everything. What was that like going out there in front of that many people? Because
it was funny because I had gone out with Hercules before and there were Harley. And the Silverdome in Pontiac, the top of it, it's not see-through, but you can see light and dark.
Right.
So by the time we started, it was so light out. And people were taking pictures, and they were filming in the stands. It was full, but it never hit me. And I went over Harley, it was darker, it never hit me. Then I changed clothes, and I went over to Andre, and all I could think about going to that ring was not 93,000 people. I was thinking, you know, there are millions and millions of people all over the world watching this. I was carrying jackets in an armory in Indianapolis, running from the sheik selling coats, and looking in his glove compartment to see who he is. And now I'm here, and millions are watching. There's history going to be made. I said, there's only 4 people in the main event. Andre, Hogan, myself, and Joey Morella.
The referee.
Who's Gorilla Monsoon's son, who was killed by Bush. And that was history. And that's all I could think about. And when I got to the ring and got off that cart, I went into character. I never thought any more about the people. And then I went back, and Bob Uecker and I were in the dressing room. And they had beer in there. So I got Uecker beer. I said, you want a beer? He said, is it Miller Lite? I said, no. He said, I can't drink that. I said, why? He says, because if I drink a beer that's not Miller Lite, I'm on contract from Miller Lite, right? It was Michelob. I said, I'll put it in a cup. He said, okay. So I poured it in a cup, and I gave it to Uecker. He said, thank you. He put it in his mouth. I said, that's Michelob. He looked. He said, you son of a bitch. But that was WrestleMania.
That's the first time, and I never was in front of a crowd that size, but the first time that I worked a Superdome, it was lucky for me because not only am I nearsighted, but the way they had the dome set up, they didn't turn the lights on, so you couldn't see the people.
They turned the lights so you couldn't see anything.
When I went out, there was almost 30,000 people there, and I go out there and I could see the first 5 rows, so I'm okay. If I'd have realized how many people, I'd only been in business 16 months or whatever, if I'd have realized how many people were actually up there looking at me, I would have shit, especially since I was in a diaper and sucking on a baby bottle by the time it was over with. After being powdered and kissed by the junkyard dog. On the mouth.
Welcome home.
Yeah.
You know, my first time in the business was a week ago.
That's right. You told us the last time people were beaten by Wee Willie Davis, caught on fire on the interstate.
Oh, God. $5. Got home bruises as a kid. So what can I do this again? You know, I did it many times again. I still got $5. Yeah. But today, if you had what was the worst promoter you ever worked for? Or the worst promoter you knew?
Well, not counting any independent organizations who I've been affiliated with over the past 5 or 6 or 7 years who could all run a real good race. Not all of them, I'm sorry. No, please don't. Many of them could run a real good race for worst promoter of the history of the world because you know the way the things have been. But we never wanted to go to Kansas City. And apologies if Bulldog Bob Brown sees this, but Jesus Christ. They booked us in Kansas City when we were in Dallas. And Fritz said, you know, the TV was on, the Von Erichs were big there, and we went up and worked with the Fantastics. And we go in the locker room at the old Memorial Hall in Kansas City.
And Geiger has on shower shoes and light jeans.
Oh, yeah. And the guys' boots, I mean, the poor guys, they're working 6 nights a week and making like $200 a week, and the toes are flapping loose on their boots, and they got holes in their tights, and you can just see the downtrodden faces.
It was like Indianapolis. That was a place you started when you were young, or you were done.
Oh, yeah.
You were either
20 or 60.
Donovan or Frank Hickey.
There you go.
That was it. Yeah.
So the first thing we did was we went back out in the car and we put our wallets back in the glove compartment just in case, because the times were hard, right? And then we got booked back there again, and we demanded more money because by the time you flew up there from Dallas, took all day, right? And then you had to stay over, get a hotel, and you had to fly back the next day. So next time we were booked, we'd already gone to Charlotte, and we had to go back one more time. And I called up, I said, we got to have $200 a piece, or we ain't coming. We at least got to cover our expenses. Okay, we get there, it's a tag team tournament. We worked 4 times and put Bob Brown and Marty Jannetty over in the last match.
Now, Bob Brown was a motorcycle cop from Winnipeg. Do you know that?
I didn't know he was a cop.
Yeah. And I told you the other day on the phone, he's the only man I've ever known that wanted to look like Gene Kiniski. Gene Kiniski was 6'5", had a burr haircut.
Wide face.
Looked like Sergeant Carter from
Gomer Pyle.
They always did this. Big rough guy, pounder.
Huge, strong guy, but his arms compared to his body looked like they were that big around, right?
He didn't
no
he was
definition.
White, and he was pimply and everything. And I asked Pat O'Connor once, I said, Mustang, how come you never put the belt on Ray Stevens? They said, well, Ray didn't have the body. I said, well, Gene does. But it's all political. Yeah. So where were we? Bob Brown.
At the Quality Inn.
So Bob Brown, he has a burr haircut, and he wears a jacket that says Can on the back, just like Kiniski. Kiniski would get out of the ring right before the match, take his jacket off, get back, same as Bob Brown. Bob Brown was the only man I've ever met in this business that wanted to look like Kiniski. I can see guys want to look like Little Beaver, or Sky Lolo, or Fuzzy, not Gene Kiniski. Kiniski didn't want to look like Kiniski. And Bob Brown never never made any money. Nice guy to me always.
Yeah,
but
he's
he
a
was
nice guy.
huge. A lot of guys didn't like him. He came to WWF one time in Winnipeg and asked if he could referee. And Vince said sure. So he went out to the referee, but while he was gone, the boys cut the legs off his suit and ripped all his clothes up. He came back and put everything in his bag and left, never saw him again. But you see, there's ways to get back at you.
Yeah, it always comes around eventually.
And,
he had me do a promo for him one time we were up there. It had a taped fist match with somebody.
You couldn't have got him over, believe me. Well, I liked him, but you couldn't have got him over if he'd have killed
Mother Teresa
at the Wailing Wall. He wouldn't have got over. Nothing. They said that's not planned.
He's got a taped fist match. He's got his fists all taped up right
together.
And I'm starting to do the promo, and as I'm standing about this much taller than he is, right?
With the haircut.
Yeah, even with that. And I'm talking about how he's such a tough guy. And I said, and look at this man's fist. And as I held up my fist, he held up his fist. My fist was bigger than his, even with the tape on his. And then I gradually just started kind of making fun of him sideways, and he didn't know it. And he was like, thanks, that was a great promo. I hope he doesn't see this. I really don't send it to Kansas City. Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, in that case, he won't see it, so it was funny. But no, I'm sorry.
and she, tough. No, he was always nice to me. That's how I judge people. A lot of guys don't like Fritz von Erich. Fritz was always nice to me. Jay Kaniski was always nice to me. Pat O'Connor, people hated. I love Pat. He was nice to me. It's different, you know.
Fritz was always nice to me as soon as he noticed that we worked here, which I would say was within 3 to 4 months of the time we started working the territory, he actually realized we were there.
Well, he was never around.
No. He came in, the hearing aids behind both ears, right, and he's a menacing-looking son of a gun, and still big, but he had the hearing aids behind both ears. Yeah, he couldn't hear even with the hearing aids, and he's got the big, thick glasses. He comes in, and he looked at me at Fort Worth one night. Say, how do you remember all that stuff on those promos you do? You do them for Dallas and Fort Worth and the big show, and you're talking about all the guys you manage? I said, well, I just really, try to apply myself. What am I going to tell him? I write it down on the inside of my hand? He said, it's good. I think that's the first time I've talked to him. I've worked for him for 3 months. I never saw him.
Well, I have a story about Fritz I can't tell on here, but I'll tell you later on.
Well, wait a minute.
No, I really can't.
Well, no, we'll just turn the microphones off, and for the lip readers in the audience.
No, I'm just teasing about that. But Fritz was a good guy, and he had the territory going good with the kids and everything. I worked for him for a week in the 70s. I went down there with Lance and Mulligan. We were at Dallas, Fort Worth, Corpus, Houston. And then I went over for Joe for a couple of weeks. And it was fun. It was fun to go to a different place.
Yeah.
But I never wanted to work every day. I never wanted to be on the road every day and travel. I had things I had to do. And then,
Dallas was good. It was a short trip territory when they didn't have the South End, when Corpus Christi and Laredo and Brownsville and Harlingen and all those towns.
Phil had those then.
Well, when we were there, Fritz ended up with them. We were going 500 miles down to Harlingen, or you could buy your own plane ticket and lose money, or you could drive and blow your motor up.
We were working in Harlingen one night and Backwinkel one night, and you can walk across the Rio Grande there, right?
Yeah.
And you're in the Harlingen. It's like a garage sale. It's in a garage. And there's 110 Mexicans sitting in this one room on flat chairs like this. Not disrespect to Mexican people, I just give you an idea. There's not a bunch of Swedish guys there.
Yeah.
Freckles and...
They're more menacing than your average Scandinavian,
Yeah. So, Nick's talking to this guy, and the guy's got a mask on. He's got wrestling shoes on about as high as yours are, with a waist about 9 times around. And I think the guy's name is the Brown Owl. And Nick says, I will hit you with a tackle at a 45-degree angle. And the guy goes, see? I stopped. I said, sir, do you know who this man is? And he looks over at Nick, he goes, no. I said, Nick, the guy don't know who you are. You think he knows what a 45-degree angle is? I said, how do you make a comeback, sir? He says, I hit the rope. I said, good luck, Nick. And Nick went out there, and for 20 minutes, every time Nick put the guy in a hold, Nick hurt himself. It was the worst match I've ever seen. Came back, the guy said, thank you.
First time we went to El Paso, we were Gary Hart and One Man Gang. We're a big van driving. Gary Hart's going to get us some authentic Mexican food, right? Which
You get that Taco Bell.
well, you know. But Gary was the official tour guide in Texas. So, and then for Mexico. But I told that story last time, I think. But we're driving down the road, and there's somebody comes out of the river, soaking wet, runs across the interstate and up the hill. He's gone. He saw the advance. But those towns in South Texas, there was one. It was a tin shed. Did I tell this story last time? The tin shed out in the middle of a field.
That's Dallas.
Okay. Well,
it's a Quincy Hut.
well, it used to be. They tore it down. But it was the world's biggest. But this one was just.
Remember the refrigerator they had with a lock on it?
Yes.
It had a padlock on the refrigerator. When you made event went in, they opened it. You take some beer, leave some something for the next guy. You guys have rolled their bag.
They used to go to Sportatorium, David Manning and Ken Mantell, and they'd flip the lights on and try to shoot the rats with fucking 22s. I'm sitting at Ken Mantell's office one time, and I look up, and there's a hole in the wall, and there's a rat looking at me.
It's a wrestling tape. He means rodents.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. The actual...
Not human rats.
Yeah.
As we know them and love them.
But I mean, they were big as house
They're
cats.
shooting fans.
One jumped on me one time.
A rat or a fan?
A rat. They're real four-legged with the nose and the whiskers and everything. And well, actually a rodent rat, because they still had some. It comes out of the. I'm sitting there on the bench, and Kelly Kaniski, Gene's son, walks through the door. I believe it was Kelly. And all of a sudden, and One Man Gang sitting there, and all of a sudden something hit me on the shoulder. And I thought Kelly had like thrown something, tape, playing with me or whatever. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "What did you just hit me with?" He said, I looked down, there's a rat sitting, it's jumped out of the attic fan, or not attic fan, it's my raccoon, the ceiling fan, and come down and hit me on the shoulder, and I said, "Fuck." And I broad jumped One Man Gang, and the thing goes out. So later on, I see the DJ from the radio station out there. And I said, "Geez." I said, "A rat jumped on me." He said, "I saw it. It was this big." I said, "No, when it was like that big." He said, "Well, the one I saw climbing across that pipe was this big." I'm like, Jesus Christ. That place had been there forever. In the bowels of that building, I don't know what they had. But anyway, they drained, long story short.
French fryer? The French fryer?
The French fryer.
Yes.
Paul Bearer told me this, because Paul Bearer, Percy Pringle, always used to love to eat the French fries at the Dallas Sportatorium. Boy, were they tasty. Come to find out, the health department came in one time. They hadn't drained the deep fryer in 6 years. They drained the deep fryer, and there was rat skeletons down the house. That's what gave the fries their texture. But anyway, the tin shed in South Texas. We go to this town
It's getting hot in there, boy.
Oh, well, in this case, there was more heat than that. We go thinking we're going to a regular town, and they take us to a hotel, because that's where we got to change. Why can't we change the building? Well, see, there really isn't any rooms. What? It's an actual tin tool shed put up in the middle of a field of mud. The hotel, a little roadside motel, is 2 miles down the road. They put us in a van. They drive us down there. On the front of the building, they have a sheet that says "Wrestling Tonight." Only they forgot to plan ahead, so it actually says "Wrestling Tonight." Von Erichs. That's all it says. They got boards so that you can walk through the mud to get into the door. Nobody has cars. Not a single car there. We're like, there's nobody here. We get in there, there's 150 people there. They walked, and there was actually some donkeys. We're like spitting distance to Mexico. And we go in there, and so they're all sitting there, and like I said, they're quiet. And the Von Erichs had these big ex-cops in South Texas. They always wore the big black cowboy hats. Their shit got bad. One, Rosie.
Ooh, I remember Rosie San Antonio.
Yes.
6'8".
Yes, he could knock somebody out with one shot. He'd take the knife, bam, down they drop, take the knife, bam.
I love Rosie.
You always look for the hat.
Rosie.
He's sitting, because I said, none of these people speak English, so I ain't really going to do anything. I'm going to sit at ringside, but Rosie, why don't you sit along with me just while I have somebody to talk to? Okay, so I'm sitting there, I'm watching the match.
Let me your lap, Rosie.
Yeah, I did that with Grizzly one time at home, but I'm doing
in Grizzly's lap.
Oh, I sat inside of it. You know, but I was in a straitjacket at the time, though. But anyway, you threw me off. I'm looking at the match. I'm sitting there like this. I'm doing nothing because I ain't going to get a heat here. Why? What? Jesus Christ. And Rosie says the one word in English that everybody in the building knew. He leaned over and he acted like he was listening to me, and then he said, "Don't call those people wetbacks." And they all started standing up. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I just want to have some fun." I'm, "Fuck you." He said, "Hey, he's like a Texas Ranger. One riot, one ranger." There was only 150 of them. There's one of them. It's even. Like, get away from me now. Move, go. I'll take my chances out there.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Always right there behind you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think he was a ranger at one time. I'm not sure.
He might have been. The worst promoter did you ever work for? Money-wise.
Money-wise, well.
And treatment, either way.
Well, actually, Kansas City, just being there because we stayed. I liked Memphis, even though I didn't make a lot of money, but I shouldn't have because I wasn't anybody and I was just starting and I was lucky to be there. And I loved Louisiana because we made a lot of money, probably not as much as we should have made for those big houses, but it made us a name, so we got a job from there. Dallas I didn't like because we didn't make a lot of money, but they didn't starve us, but they didn't really use us, but we only stayed there a little while, and it was short trips. Crockett, we made a lot of money and got used real well, so, up until the time, how could I forget, WCW? I hated all of them, but I can't even call any of those people promoters.
You're right. I've been in the business now. This year, 2005, is my 40th year in the business. You think I'd find a job by now. But I'll tell you.
Sooner or later you'll grow out of it.
The worst payoffs people I ever was around was Dick the Bruiser. He would never give you $50. He'd give you 40.
Yeah.
He'd never give you 200, 190. Give you 100, 240, never 250. Never saw it behind 250. Anyway, never price. But you think he nickel and dimes you $10 a year. You'll save a lot of money.
If he did it to everybody on the card
That's right.
4 times a week.
Plus he started me, so he didn't respect me.
Yeah.
You never get respect where you start.
Yeah.
You never do. And that was the worst promoter I ever worked for. Him. Because I lived there, he knew me, he started me.
And also, Indiana was a fiefdom for Bruiser, right? Nobody was going to mess with it. They couldn't. He was connected politically.
TVs he had.
TVs, everything. The night in Evansville when he went down, did we talk about that? And Bruiser and Snyder paid a visit to, when Jerry Jarrett started running Louisville and Evansville, Bruiser had him closed for, I think, like 6 years.
You see, Dick's TV only went as far as Bloomington, and he never, maybe Seymour, didn't go all
When he ran Louisville, he didn't have TV in Louisville.
No.
That's why he didn't do any business, and that's why he closed the town. So it was dark like 5-6 years, and then Jerry Jarrett and his mother got TV in Louisville and Evansville, and started running and started selling out. And
in Owensboro, I think, too.
Well, yeah, but that was a different story. Randy Hales. No, but Bruiser and Snyder, from what I understand, came down to Evansville one day and made it plain in no uncertain terms that those were their towns and they better get a piece of something or else shit was going to take place. So I think they got a piece of Evansville for 10 years or whatever, 5%.
Yes, just a booking fee.
Yeah, just for being allowed to be in Indiana.
Yeah. That's the way things were in those days. It's just you didn't step on anybody's toes. If you did, then we had to go opposition. They call it opposition.
Yeah. Outlaw.
Yeah.
The Outlaws. Working the Outlaws.
I remember when Bruiser went against the Sheik in Detroit. Well, none of myself, Blackjack Lanza, Blackjack Mulligan, and Ron Raschke could not work St. Louis because we were opposition to NWA town. And Mike LaBelle, who was a promoter in L.A., was the vice president, and he went to Sam, and who was close to the Sheik in Detroit. He said, "Sam, how can you use Heenan, Bruiser, Snyder, Blackjacks, and Raschke when they're going against an NWA town?" So, for 2 years, we didn't work St. Louis.
And it was funny that LaBelle had so much pull in the NWA because Los Angeles is the first local territory that died.
Yeah.
He still had all that pull.
But for some reason, he was friends. You know, he got in there, and Sam liked him, and
I think we told a story last time of why that Bruiser was running opposition to Sheik and et cetera, because when Barnett sold, Sheik paid him and Bruiser didn't, and then they got mad and blah, blah, blah.
that was it. And then they went in bed together. Then they got together.
Yeah.
Then all the boys suffered. None of us ever got to work the big shows. They would send me and Pepper Gomez sometimes to Detroit. And then Sheik would come down, which was good for me, because then Sheik came to Indianapolis, and him and I worked with Bruiser and Bobo at Comiskey Park. But it was just bizarre. It was stupid. It was stupid. No one went up to Minneapolis to run against Vern. It was too cold.
To me, that's what's missing in wrestling is the territories each had their own different styles and each had their own guys that they like to use. They wouldn't keep the same crew all the time, but they would bring sort of the same people in and out, and some new ones in the mix.
Same kind of people.
Same kind of people. And you knew that you were going to see one style in the AWA and one style in Florida, one style in Georgia, one style in Tennessee, one style in Texas. And it was all different, and it made it interesting. And when you could get all those different TV shows, you know, when Joe Pedicino used to do his wrestling block in Atlanta, and I lived there, I'd tape it. I'd go to Macon on Saturday night, and I'd come back and I'd get a pizza and a 24-liter Sprite and sit there and watch 6 hours of wrestling until 7 o'clock on Sunday morning. And now I can watch 6 hours of wrestling if I had to, because it all looks like the same shit. Yeah. I mean, all the guys, I tell all my guys this, they're all copying everything they see on TV. And you don't see that many different people on TV, so gradually everything is coming down to the nub where everybody's copying everybody and doing the same things they're doing, to where everything is so uniform that people are like, yeah, that's
guys, when guys are giving interviews, they would start out yelling and screaming. I said, when it comes time for you to yell and scream about a situation you're in, it's not going to mean nothing. Because you can't get higher than you have been right now.
But if you're as hyper as me, you just either have a stroke or a nosebleed or your head blows up.
I'm telling you, I liked your work. I just liked the way you were the shadiest manager there was. I had bars.
Is that a reflection on my size?
No, it's a reflection because you just look like the kind of a guy with the glasses and the tie. My mother had the tennis racket that would rip off a guy.
Yeah, I'll take the
I was the kind of a guy who would take a girl to a room and make her a movie star, but we had no film in the camera. And I worked for Larry's Auto, Lucky Larry. You know, not really a Ford dealership, something like that. So but I like
Lucky Larry's used car auto detailing
with a sign,
tax service, and lawnmower repair
and massage.
We have you mesmerized. You have not been away.
No.
We were talking about Orndorff and Vader. Who do you think some of the toughest guys were, legitimately tough guys in the business? Well, there you go. There's one right off the bat.
Haku.
Yeah.
Andre.
Dr. Death.
Gordon Nelson.
Gordon Nelson. And see, there was two different types of tough. Also, there was tough shooters, and then there was just tough people.
Yeah.
Like Hercules Hernandez.
Yeah.
Who, you know, he and Dr. Death beat up a bar in Shreveport one night, you know.
But on the mat, you're eating him up, probably.
Yeah, he couldn't wrestle, but
you'd be missing a couple of years when you're out. That's the way you want.
He would beat you into
I saw a fight in the dressing room in Detroit. It was between Mike Sharp and Billy Jack Haynes. And they rode together to the building. And they had to work together. And I forget what the conversation was about, because it wasn't my match.
Yeah.
I wasn't manager and it had anything to do with them. And they came back from the ring and they were arguing. And they got into it. And they just started they stood toe to toe and kept hitting each other. And finally Mike's arms dropped. And Billy picked him up and just slammed him right in the floor. It was over. They took a shower, got dressed up together. McMahon calls me the next day. He said, were you in Detroit last night? At Cobo. I said, yeah. He said, what happened? I said, two guys just got into it. No problem. He said, did you try to break it up or anything? I said, Vince, you have to understand something. That I only like it when guys fight in street clothes. That way change falls out of their pocket. I don't care who beats anybody's ass.
Like you're going to try to pull Billy Jack Haynes off.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But I had a fight one night in Detroit at the Olympia. There was a guy there was a jobber. I mean, a jobber. Couldn't wrestle. This tall, big, fat slob. I'm even going to say his name, because all we'll do is give him credit.
Yeah.
he was smarting all the people up around town. He would stay at hotels and say he was a wrestler and beat him on the bill. So we come to stay at a hotel, we couldn't get rooms. So I called him in the dressing room one night. I said, come here, you little, call him a name. I still smarting people up and go tell people about the Blade and everything like that. Then you go rent hotel rooms and beat them on the bill, say you were championship wrestler. We're the ones that do this for a living. I said, you're nothing but a blank, blank, blank. He took a step towards me. When we did, I hit him. and he went like that, and he came after me, and I swear to God, I don't know what I did, I hip-popped him. And I caught up, and I threw him down on the bench, and the bench broke, and he started to move, and I kicked him in the face, and cut his cheekbone.
Oh!
And he went down. And I looked over, and Rasky, Lance, and Mulligan were sitting on the bench laughing, because I hip-popped him. The commissioner comes in, and I told the commissioner, I said, just so his name was Jimmy. I just so you know, I just got into it with this moron. Okay. He goes to the bathroom, he's blood on his face, he puts a big bandage on his face, and comes out and says, "Did you get anything, coffee?" So I went and told the bruiser. I said, "Bruiser, I got in a fight in the dressing room." I told him, I said, "Why would you do that? That guy gets me bronze." Well, what about, I mean, I'm trying to make you a living.
Yeah, trying to protect the business.
Yeah. And one night in Houston, Manny Fernandez
Oh, yeah, he's going to be one of mine, too.
worked with Mascaras. And they came back and he threw chairs over the dressing room. He was ready. Mascaras came in, they went in the shower, take it.
Yeah.
So, believe me, there ain't that many fights. There's no fights in the ring. And there's no fights that many outside. Usually they get in the motel in the parking lot or something.
And there was more.
It's not about the business. It's usually about something stupid.
There was more in the old days than there was in just the old days.
Because guys went top time. If you were going over me, I won 90% of the match. And that's what it was. I asked Bill Longston once. I said, "Was there always a work?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "But you fought the guy you were wrestling for top time, but you knew who was going over."
Yeah.
So.
And it made it a little bit more legitimate and ruffled more feathers.
Yeah.
I never really got any fights in the locker room because they'd never let me in the girls' locker room. So
They're trying to protect you.
Well, actually, especially when
You're
you're taking
not the kind of guy that would fight the guy. You're a nice guy. And you're a business guy.
Thank you.
No, really, I've been interested with
I think
you.
I still have some money in here. Let me. Yeah. Thank you.
No, that's
I'll
true.
hold it for you.
But really, you're not a problem. And you're considered, you're into the business.
I'm like a cornered raccoon. When I'm scared, I will kill you because I'm rabid with claws. Manny Fernandez and Tully Blanchard had been promoing back. This was from stuff that stemmed from back in San Antonio Southwest Wrestling. I don't know.
I worked there for them.
But they had been promoing for months that they were going to just have it out for working for Crockett. And they'd just been promoting each other. And I think it was something like Tully got in a fight at a convenience store one time and was fighting 3 guys, and Manny was in the car, and Manny just did this with the window and rolled the window up, or some shit that they were saying. So everybody's waiting to see Manny Fernandez and Tully Blanchard. And finally, it's the 2-day Crockett Cup in Baltimore, where we're at the arena 2 days in a row for the tag team tournament. And I stayed at the day's end.
The Crockett Cup.
Well, you know. But
Jackie Crockett.
Yeah, the Jackie Crockett Cup.
No, it's here.
But I stayed at the hotel 15 minutes too long because I had business with another one of those rats of the other legged variety. And I come in, I've missed it already. They said something crossways to each other, and they both went, and according to eyewitness reports, the way they tell it, they locked up with each other in the middle of the locker room and waited for everybody to pull them apart. And nobody would come pull them apart. So they have to go down on the floor. Now, I think Tully got his eyes scratched or vice versa, and Manny landed on the head or whatever. And they're waiting for people to pull them apart. And the guy said, nobody stepped in. And finally they got up and they backed up and they started yelling at each other again. Like, I'm really going to kick your ass. And then somebody important came in and everybody said, okay. And I came outside, I missed it. We've been hearing these promos for months and I missed it. It didn't even take that long. I
hate to be insulted. Do you?
Yes.
I really don't like to be...
Except by you. Then I consider it an honor.
Well, I'm an insulting person. It's a nice tie. Couldn't guess you were waiting at the fair, huh?
But see...
No. But Well, I don't like this. I'm sitting outside the dressing room. I'm sitting on one of those big boxes where the television equipment comes with Fit Finley. And Fit's a tough guy. You know Fit?
Oh, yeah.
And we're sitting there, we're just talking. And Diamond Dallas Page gets into a fight with Bagwell. And they're swearing, there's something about Bagwell had made a move on his wife. But they're throwing working punches. They're doing this. And Fit and I are sitting there watching it, and he elbows me. And he says, mate, I says, they're working. That insulted me because I've never seen guys work in front of the boys to try to get themselves into an angle.
That story
As in
is like
something-
because the people making the decisions actually believe the shit.
And then I'll tell you something else about Diamond Dallas Page. He's not a bad
Is
guy.
this still on? I just stepped on it. Hello, checking. Sorry.
He's not a bad guy. I don't really know him that well.
I've met him a number of times, but
But
not,
you don't know him
not-
until you're riding a car with him for
Yeah.
a year. I came to work at WCW. He couldn't think of a name for his finishing move. So I said, why don't you go to the Diamond Cutter? Thank you. Christmas comes, brings me a bottle of champagne. Me and Mike Tenay.
Wow.
I said, thank you. Was I mad that I accepted this? It's payola. This guy puts him over because he gives him champagne. I put people over because it's my job to put them over. Good, bad, or indifferent. A $10 cheap bottle of champagne isn't going to make me change my values for this business. But I accepted that, and that made me mad.
Now, do you think he was trying to bribe you, or
Yes,
was it in
yes.
the spirit of, oh, it was
No.
Well, that
Corny,
could have been
Corny.
here and yon.
Are you kidding? This had a screw up top in a paper bag. You know what? Bums didn't have a paper bag, so they don't want to know when the end comes. I had to go away in the doorway and cough all night. Doing some NyQuil. No.
It was that kind of wine where you snip the corner off the bag, right?
It was chunky. But I was insulted, thinking, I was mad because I took the bottle. I said, now the boys are going to think they're going to have to give me wine to put them over, or give me gifts. And I don't operate like that. And he was that green to give me and today. I never forgot that. He's not maybe a bad guy, I just didn't like that part of it.
But you know, you could have had a heck of a business going on there if you'd gone ahead and went that way.
I could open up ABC Liquor.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. But you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I was mad at me for accepting it. I should have said, no thank you, I don't drink. That's what I should have said. Or I should have said, no, I've taken them from all the boys. I can't do that. I said, well, thank you. And then I thought, what have I done? It really upset me. It really did. Maybe people don't understand that, but
Well, I
that's
like
why you're watching this nude.
I like doing color commentary. Yeah, get the drink back. You shouldn't throw that. It's valuable. I like doing color commentary, but sometimes when you have a bad match, it's you can't come out and make fun of it, especially if it's somebody important involved.
My Monsignor always told me, he said, why can't we just shoot and say how really bad you
Yeah,
are?
yeah. I mean, but when you got a real stinker and you can't make fun of the people involved and you're trying to find any positive aspect of this situation to call attention to, and there's nothing there and you're dying,
I'll tell you how to do
it's
that.
tough.
No, it's not.
No?
No. First of all, play-by-play guys, you don't have to have play-by-play in anything. It's television.
They can see it.
Most play-by-play guys came from radio. In radio, you have to say, the Bears, they're dressed in their blue uniforms with their gold C's on their helmet, and the Detroit Lions are out there in their gold and their silver and blue, and they're ready to butt heads. You gotta set the stage. You don't in wrestling. He throws them in, he hits them with a clothesline, he picks them up, the big slam. They can see that. So if a match is shit, all you do is talk about their angle.
Oh, there you have.
See, that's the way to do it. This guy, you have to talk about the bad guy. Talk about the guy that can work, what he's got going. So you really can.
Or both of them are bad. You just say,
You talk about the man
folks,
next
coming
door.
up next.
Or you talk about what you just saw or what you're about to see. Really, that's all you can do. But you can never say how bad they are because people can see it.
I always like when the guy throws the drop kick or the elbow or whatever, misses by 3 feet, and then the guy takes the bump anyway. Well, he didn't catch all of that he wanted, but Bobby Heenan was trying to evade that maneuver and accidentally fell down and killed himself.
He missed it. He can't work.
He can't work.
But really, that really upset me. And Diamond is not a bad person, I believe. I don't really know him, like I said, but it was my fault for accepting it. And maybe some guy will tell somebody 10 years down the road, I saw Bobby Heenan and Mike Tenay accept a bottle of champagne from Diamond Dallas. I guess we have to give him champagne to get ourselves talked about. And that's not the way I operate.
Bobby, I think, truthfully and honestly, everybody in the business knows you would not put somebody over falsely for champagne. It would take money.
Yeah, I mean, you can take that bottle back and give me $4.
Yeah.
3 minutes, you're over like $1 million. But it bothered me. It really did. Oh, okay, thanks for dinner last night.
Oh, yeah, well, you're welcome. Thanks for letting me tell my raccoon story. And, yeah, something else.
That was Norval Austin. That was
not only tough guys, and we talk about Hercules Hernandez and Dr. Death and Hacksaw Duggan.
Yes.
Hacksaw Duggan.
You never see it, he killed you.
He couldn't see this far, but boy, if you got up in his face, he'd knock you out.
One I was watching you, and the other was watching a fly.
He bealed this guy in Alexandria, Louisiana one night at the Holiday Inn.
I hit like a guy, and he bealed the guy.
He bealed the guy out of the bathroom, through the door, into the bar. You know, people are sitting there all over, here comes the guy.
Toughest man, probably, Johnny Valentine.
Oh, yeah.
And Mad Dog Vachon. Winnipeg, Canada, one night. Some guy, 1969. Lands and I at the bar, Bill Watts, Mad Dog, and his brother Butcher. Nice family.
Yeah.
Mad Dog and Butcher. You know what Dog told me? He says, I love my name. You know what it is spelled backwards? You love it. So we're in the bar.
Okay, lots of literary geniuses over here.
So we're
C-A-T. I'm sorry.
So we're in the bar. And this drunken Canadian Mark comes up and he wants to fool with Watts. He always picked the biggest guy. You know,
Yeah.
Watts got the real hat on. You know, it's like Cowboy Freddy from Omaha TV. Kid show. With a straw horse.
T-Bogey Ranch.
Yeah. So he starts messing with Watts. And somehow he gets into it with Mad Dog. So Mad Dog goes to the guy and the guy moves and Mad Dog cracks his head on a wooden post in the middle of the bar. And it just opens him up, but no blood. Just a red crease in his head. And Dog turns to the guy and he says, now we're going to have some fun. And he gets the guy down and he reaches in and he starts pulling the guy's eye out.
Oh.
And Butcher, his brother, tries to pull him off. And they finally get Dog off the guy and Dog is biting the guy. It's like no fight you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And as they kill you at the bar, Watts says, what would happen if you messed with a big guy? But Dog is a tough man. And we're in Denver one night. He went out to eat at a place called the White Spot. It's like a Denny's. So he's sitting at his own table by himself. He doesn't bother anybody.
Yeah.
This is Maurice Mad Dog Vachon. He didn't get the name with badges selling cookies. He's eating, and some guy sits down and says, hey, can I talk to you? Dog says, you are about to make the biggest mistake of your life. And he wipes off his fork. And the guy leaves. And the guy goes across the street. He's got about 4 friends. They're staying across the street and they're talking. So Dog calls his brother, Paul. He said, Paul, I'm down here at the White Spot. They're at the Riviera Hotel. Drive down to meet me. We're going to have some fun. So Paul gets in the cab. You know Paul?
I've never
Paul
heard
sings.
that Paul.
Paul's a lovable guy.
He's the real big one, and Dog's the killer. Yeah.
So Dog walks outside the bar. And he sees the guys across the street. So he walks across the street to walk through. One guy says, do you have a light? Dog says, let me check. As he reaches in his pockets, they go for it. Bang, 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 bang. He picks up a guy and he runs with him to throw him through a plate glass window, and he trips. And he's mad now, so he kicked the guy so hard, he tore the toes off his wing-tip shoes. You know how it is to tear a toe off a wing-tip shoe? Paul pulls up in the cab, there's bodies all over the place, it looks like Beirut. Dog is here and says, I'm sorry you missed out on your fun. But I'm telling you, he's a dog. He's an animal.
Well, he was at the night in Omaha when at the pay-per-view they pulled off his leg. Shawn Michaels and Nash in the match they set up the spot to pull his leg off, and I'm like, this guy, boy, he's all for the business, right? He's sitting there. He got hit by a car.
Before cars were just jogging, the car hit him.
His leg.
Dog hit by a car.
Dog hit by a car.
But he found out too later on. that the surgeon that did it, they didn't have to amputate. They could have saved it.
Oh.
So now I guess he has some kind of a lawsuit or something. But he used to drive. He'd take his leg off and put it in the dash. He'd go through the toll gates. People look at the guy's leg in the dash.
That was the greatest spot in the world for people who didn't know. Here's Mad Dog Vachon, famous, former wrestler, wrestling legend. But for the people who didn't know he had a false leg, when they pulled that thing off and started beating each other over the head with it, and he's like, "Yes, I'm having fun tonight, Dave. He used my leg." He was great.
Well, he was tough. He was tough. I remember when I was in Winnipeg, he was wrestling Adnan Casey, the Sheik. Sheik had those bandoleros, the boats, remember?
Yeah.
So he got in the ring, and Dog went right for him. So he took off running, and Dog got the bullets, and as he went over the top rope, Dog swung him. And it just missed him, but it caught him in the ankle. So he gets back in the dressing room, and Vern says to him later, "I watched the match." He says, "Your punches look like hell." He said, "I didn't want to make him mad." But Dog, you could beat him all night. You know what he said to you? "Thank you very much."
And Johnny Valentine was the same way.
You hit Johnny.
If you didn't hit him hard enough, he would beat you up.
Oh, yes. As hard as you would hit any human being. He'd go, Johnny, and my hands are bleeding. I can't hit you any harder, Johnny. He was very tough. He had something different up here, where he didn't feel pain, I believe. And he just...
He's what turned the Carolinas around, because it was a tag team territory doing...
Because of the plane crash.
Good business for a while.
Yeah.
Well, then they brought...
After, yeah.
Yeah, they brought Valentine in, George Scott did, and made it a single territory and put the U.S. title on him, and he was stinking a joint out with the long, slow, boring matches that people were like... But all of a sudden...
He will get over.
It takes
a while.
not stinking the joint out, because people every week would see people beating up piss and hearing up in the big buildings. These bam, bam, bam.
I told Johnny once, I said, "Johnny, don't ever hit me." I said, "There's only so much room between my heart and your fist."
Well, it took a while. I've talked to the people that were there. It took like a year for them to gradually turn it into a more serious and a single-oriented style. And then they brought in Wahoo to work with Valentine, who was perfect. Wahoo, one of the toughest guys in the world. Don Jardine,
to me,
who taught Undertaker.
Been the best world heavyweight champion the business would have ever had. Wahoo.
Yes.
You know why? He's an American Indian. He played pro football.
Legitimate, native.
Legitimate. Went to the University of Oklahoma.
Good worker.
Could bleed, could be a heel, could be a baby face, could do a promo. You know why they never trusted him? Because he always bitched about money, the payoffs. Then why don't you pay the man fairly? And maybe he won't do that. But that would have been the way to go.
He bitched about every single thing that somebody did wrong to him.
He always did.
Yes.
But that was wrong.
But it was a great part.
It was a charm.
And he would also bitch about other people's.
And he was okay with me. I had no
screwed,
problem.
no, if you screwed somebody around, he'd go and say, "Hey, don't screw this way."
Yeah, he was a good man. He was a real good man.
But when he was a heel in the Carolinas, the chop, when Marks would come at him, he would chop them, and they would fly over seats, and they weren't taking bumps. He would just chop, and the people saw those. Here's these Joe from the gas station that got chopped 10 feet in the air. Chop must fucking work. Shit.
We had an angle once in Columbus, Georgia. Remember Fred Wardstown?
Yes.
Fred, how you doing? Chase me hand like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freddie, I'm ready.
And Ralph Reed.
Brewster.
Yeah.
Is this
have
we rehearsed this?
And Wahoo has a match where he loses each time. So he comes back the next week, it's Mr. Columbus. He's got red boots now, the singlet, and a mask. He's in a battle royal. It's a mask that ties behind, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the battle royal. Me and Bill Eadie, superstar. I tie Wahoo's mask to the top rope. He's back there selling it. He's not even working. I tie his mask to the top rope. Couple knots. I go away. So he starts to leave, and he can't. Now he's going up and down the rope, yelling, "Hey, somebody, get that thing off me!" He's running up and down. He got so mad, he unmasked himself. He broke the string and took the mask out. I went, "Boy!" And it worked for me.
You're gone. Yeah, I said I was going to tell this. I can't tell as good as Stan, but this just totally doesn't have anything to do with what we were talking about, but I want to get it in because it was the other thing, not the first thing, but the second thing. Stan always used to do the airplane rips, and I think I told him one about the magazine before. Kurt Hennig They're working for Vern. Kurt gets on the plane, and he's like all the other guys. He's wearing a Zubaz and a T-shirt. He's got his big old carry-on bag. And Kurt walks down the aisleway and stands sitting there. He's got his magazine, and Kurt's stuffing this big piano case-sized overhead, right, or bag, the overhead guy. And there's a businessman sitting there in suit and tie, reading a newspaper, Wall Street Journal or whatever. And Stan just right out of the blue reaches over and hit his pants down. And there's Kurt's pissed. Stan says Kurt's penis was hanging in his man's face. And he goes, no, no! And Kurt's like, he's got one hand on the bag and he's trying to pull his pants up from his ankles. And his dick's waving hard.
Hey, picture guy, young guy.
And the guy went, no, no! Like he was a vampire and showed him across.
He did it right, and he put the guy's eye out. You know, I give him a little point.
If it had been Rocca, could have killed somebody.
Rocca, right through the pilot. Tony Rocca did.
There you have it.
I'm sitting
And didn't Tony Rocca have a brother named Kerry Rocca?
Big Kerry Rocca.
Big Kerry Rocca.
Mm-hmm. He worked for a rent on one side, yeah. I'm on a plane, there's a guy sitting next to me. He looks like Bob Newhart, right? Simple kind of guy. So he takes his little wedgies off, puts them in the seat, goes to sleep. I'm bored. Nothing to do. So I reach, I take the guy's shoes, and I open it up, and I unzip the bag, not my bag, his bag. Yeah, I push zip it shut. I go to sleep. We land, I see the guy. I said, maybe they went underneath. No, I got the guy crawling in a suit underneath the seats. I said, you know, they probably went to the back because they put the brakes. Now I got the guy crawling this in a trench coat. The guy said, I lost my shoes. I said, they gotta be here. So I got off the plane. I said, I'm not gonna leave. So I stood outside the door waiting. All of a sudden I see 4 O'Hare. I see 4 Chicago cops go on. So I gotta watch this. I buy a newspaper, I cut a hole in it. About 20 minutes. Here comes a guy with his bag, suit, no shoes. I put the shoes in the wrong bag. It might have been some librarian coming home from a seminar, and her husband's going to find wingtip shoes in her bag. So I didn't know what happened to the guy.
That used to be a big thing that guys would do is when you were on a plane and the guys would go to sleep, you'd take their carry-on bag from the compartment over their head and put it like in the last one in the back. Where not only can't they find it, but when they realize what's been done, they got to wait for everybody to get off the plane.
George Animal Steel used to do. As soon as the plane would land, you hear that? She would blow up the barf bag and pop it. And these poor people would just rip their hearts.
Like goddamn Stan, he used to torment me on planes because he knew how I was anyway, right? And we'd be on like a 6 o'clock in the morning flight. And maybe because I can't go to sleep early, you know, at night, so I'm maybe had 2 hours sleep. But I actually liked that on a plane because if I was practically at the point of exhaustion, I could potentially, if it was a smooth flight, possibly relax enough to be comfortable, possibly even nod off. So Stan discovered if you rolled up the in-flight magazine, it made a good thing to reach up and hit the goddamn stewardess call button over my head if he's sitting behind me, right? So I'd be sitting there and I'm like, okay, we're not going to die, we're not going to die, we're not going to die. Right near, it's blue skies, nice, okay, no clouds out there. Yeah, boy, it was a long night last night. And he'd reach up, bing! I'd jump up, now here comes the stewardess. I said, no, I didn't cut. Oh, okay, it was a mistake, sorry, okay. He'd wait 30 minutes. Oh, he would wait hours to set a rib up, Stan would. He'd wait 30 minutes. As soon as I got relaxed again. Here she comes. Now she's getting hot. What are you calling me for? I'm not, I swear. Another time she kept, I said, there must be something wrong with that, ma'am. I don't know, you know. And so that I'd go to sleep one time. I think Bob Eaton did this, though. In the car, I went to sleep in the van because my legs were stretched out. And when I woke up, my shoelaces had been taken out, started at the top and tied in knots at the bottom and then tied together. So they were tied only one time but take them all out and start over again.
You have to
It was something to pass the time.
You have to do that. You don't understand. If you don't do that, you're nuts. I used to fly from Seattle to Tampa. I'd leave at 11 o'clock, at 12 o'clock at night. I get to Chicago at 5. It's 7 o'clock for flight to Tampa, home at 9. there's nothing happening at O'Hare at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So you know that the shoe polish, the applicators where you rub it on,
Yeah.
and then you buff it off. Take a black one and put on the earpieces of the phones. Your phone over there? Yeah, unplug that. Just give me the handset.
Are you kidding? It's already unplugged.
There ain't no human being in the world that can see their ears. So you make this black, and the guy gets on the phone, he's talking. Yeah, yeah. Oh, hold on, I got you. Mm-hmm. And then they hang up. Now, about 7:30, you see about 40 people walking through the airport with 3-piece suits and a black ear. So, I would do that all the time. So, I mean, it was Cleveland, in Akron.
Yes, Akron, Kansas.
No.
Was it Canton Civic Center or
It's Cleveland. It's the
Cleveland, downtown, municipal?
no, that's the old one.
Oh,
It's between.
the old building downtown.
Yes.
Whatever the name of it is. Where they used to throw the rocks in Vaseline jars and shoes and all that
Everything.
stuff. Yeah. Seriously, a Vaseline jar.
I
Really
put the black phone on the earpiece, right? Boys don't come home.
Yeah.
I wait a couple hours. Good night, guy with a black ear in the place. I leave the building and I say, good night. I walk, cop says, good night, Mr. Heenan. He's got a black ear. But you just do those things. Now I get my buddy, listen to this. We go to a restaurant. I said, I got this gimmick. Put the shoe polish on the phone. We'll sit in the restaurant, across from the phones with our wives and watch everybody eat. Don't tell our wives. He said, okay. What do I do? I said, just go and buy some black paste shoe polish. Okay. He goes, he buys it, puts it on the phone, we sit down. But he doesn't buy black. He buys Cordova, which is reddish. You know who uses the phone? A Mexican guy. Same color as the shoes. You can't tell it here. But those are things you do.
You can't do that. Now everybody's got a cell phone. That's not, you can't find a payphone now. What is this bullshit technology? I just want to be able to find a payphone, put a quarter in and call somebody.
Forget it, 50 cents probably.
When the phone rings, I don't want it to play Stairway to Heaven or the theme from the Addams Family or whatever. I just want it to ring. I don't need to see a picture of the person that's calling. I know what they look like. If I don't know what they look like, I'm not going to answer because I don't want to talk to them anyway. I don't need it to take a picture because I'm looking at what I'm fucking looking at anyway. And I can tell the person that I'm talking to what the shit looks like rather than showing it to them. Why do they need all this shit?
Right. Companies make money. Wrestling companies make money.
No.
ROH makes a fortune.
Especially now that they've got us.
They don't pay us, so they must be paying somebody.
Yeah.
That's,
It's wrestling business all over again. We draw all the money and somebody else gets all the gravy. Rocca and them guys.
well, Tony, Kerry Rocca.
Kerry Rocca.
Yeah. I saw him, Argentina Rocca, in Cleveland in '67, New Year's Day. We were in Canton, Ohio. Mitsu Arakawa, Jack Lenz, and I said, Tony, what'd you do last night? Last night was New Year's Eve. He said, oh, Bobby, I went to a big union party. We drank all night, eat. Oh, I'm tired. Next guy, Tony, what'd you do last night? I had to go to the big house, take pictures of Cuba for the president. He'd always tell everybody a different story. He never knew if the guy was nuts or not. He'd always give me a cigar, did this to the bruiser. It was all ripped in half. Yeah, I'll give it to him. But he was a funny guy.
He got the job as color commentator for the WWWF in the late 70s and could barely speak English at that point. Been in the country 25 years, right?
Yeah. Never made any money. Never made any money. He was owned by people. He was owned by Dr. Brown and Toots Mont and Vince Sr. And
I heard that he never really made it. Of all the money he drew, he never really got much. It was sort of like a Primo Carnera boxing story, but in wrestling.
Yeah.
Primo made more money in wrestling than he did in boxing. Most people don't know that. He drew millions, but he never made anything in boxing. He was broke, and he finally, Lou Darrow in California took Primo Carnera, took his contract and broke him in, and made him some money in wrestling that he never made as a boxing champion.
you know, we had a match in St. Louis, Wednesday against Dory Funk Jr. and Joe Lewis, the referee. And I don't know what they paid Joe, probably $1,000, maybe $2.
Yeah.
And Joe said this is the most money he'd ever had in his hand at one time. Can you imagine that?
And the government beat him to death for taxes after he fought. He joined the army, fought exhibition fights, war bond rallies, World War II, that whole thing, and then they beat him up for taxes till probably till he was dead.
So Ruth S., his first wife, he divorced her and was doing war bond rallies, and his parents turned him in and made him draft him. Yeah, so it was different those days, you know. But it was
There you have it.
But there's a lot of tough guys around. Ray Stevens told me, talking about signing things and doing stuff. Ray said, we have estimated tax now. Where is that? I said, we have to estimate how much you make. We're independent contractors. So how can I estimate what I'm going to make? I haven't made it yet. I said, we're working for Vern for 10 years. You know he's going to pay it.
Yeah.
Has it ever been more? Ever been less? It's always the same. Okay. So Ray sends in his tax form. Estimated what he's going to make. He said, but I didn't sign it. I said, why? He said, if I have to guess how much I'm going to make, let him guess who it is. They found him. They took him back. They arrested him. What characters are in the business? Huh?
Oh.
What's the best promoter you ever worked for?
Best in terms of the way I liked the way the wrestling was presented, Watts. It was a miserably brutal, horrible, anguishing Beirut, Lebanon territory to work. But you learned. It was like the military school of wrestling.
Gordon Solie told me, I said, who was the best booker Ford ever had? He said, Watts. Really? I said, I don't know, maybe I like Bill. I like Bill. He called me when I was sick. Didn't have to do that. I like Bill. But some guys just didn't. He was strict.
He explained in Tampa at Wrestle Reunion a few weeks ago, he said, hey, I had to know people were going to be there on time, people I was going to use, I was going to depend on, they had to protect the business, they had to conduct themselves perfect, blah, blah, blah. He had every rule in the book. But the thing is, young guys who had never made a name for themselves, the Freebirds, the Midnight Express, Jim Cornette, Rock and Roll Express, Terry Taylor, Magnum TA, Junkyard Dog, Hacksaw Duggan, all those guys, even if they had been in the business, and even if they had been in the business, they'd never been main eventers, they'd never been able to draw in a big territory on their own. He gave them all their first shot, and when he knew what he wanted to do with somebody, he could get them over. And he had that atmosphere that he created with his territory to where that his fans responded to certain things. He had trained them.
He wanted to Vern.
Yeah, and
he was powerful like Vern.
And he credits Eddie Graham with a lot of his booking mind because he learned from Eddie Graham in the Atlanta days and the Florida days and all that stuff. But I think that was a great atmosphere to be in for wrestling because you knew, when I was 22 years old and all of a sudden I'm the main event manager in a big territory and we're going to the Superdome and they're doing big business. Now everybody wants to give me a job. Before I couldn't get booked in Kansas City if I'd have tried. As a matter of fact, I did try one time. I'm starving to death in Tennessee because Jimmy Hart was there and they didn't want to really use me, but I think Jerry Jarrett was afraid if they fired me, his mother would get mad. So I'm making about $250 a week, and Ken Wayne.
You were on top though.
Yeah, well, there you go. And Ken Wayne actually went to Kansas City. Buck Robley took over the book. Colonel Buckley Christopher Robley, Yellow Belly Buck Robley III. He had 18 million nicknames. And I said, Ken, you think they need a manager? And he called in, and Buck said, can he work too? And Ken said, well, he can have a manager match, but he's only been in business 9 months. He said, well, we can't pay anybody outside the ring. Buck was booking and working on top and making $300 a week.
Let me tell some of all the promoters out there, I hope are watching this. You bunch of sorry-ass bastards, and I'll tell you why. He's a manager. He's a wrestler. He's just not. It's entertainment. There are no real wrestlers. He plays the part of a wrestler. I play the part of a manager. I drew as much money, he drew as much money as anybody we managed. For us to take less money than our men is an insult to us. You're wrong. They were all wrong. Mickey Rooney could not be Rhett Butler and Gone with the Wind. I couldn't either. They couldn't do what we do. We have to be paid for what we do. It's an entertainment business. They never understood that. Well, you managed, you didn't work. Yes, I did. The guy in the ring worked with a guy he could depend on. I'm out there with 10,000 people with my back turned. You want me to take half money for that? But I did, and that was wrong. And they were wrong for paying us that way.
And when I got with Bobby and Dennis, and we started working for Watts, he recognized that, and Bobby and Dennis went to bat for me, and I started, during the time before No, and after No, but during the time I was with the Midnight Express, we always got paid the same.
But the reason they didn't pay is because they didn't have to. Same with me. I'm in Chicago. $28,000 house, I get $50. Crusher says to Bruiser, how can you pay the kid that? He said he'd make nothing if he was off tonight.
Yeah, that's the way
the mentality was.
they felt about everything.
That's the way they felt.
And then when we got together as a team, and then we had a little problem with World Class too, because they didn't pay me the same as Bobby Dennis when we went there, and Bobby Dennis went back.
You're working, you're on the TV, you're in the ring, you're moving.
So one time, I swear to God, Dennis Condry got a $63 payoff. $63. Shaved it right down to the nub. Couldn't give him 65 like you were telling. Not even a 40 instead of 50. $63. But so then it ended up went the other way. Our last year in WCW, Jim Herd was such a fucking moronic idiot. He gives new meaning to the term stupidity. This guy threw money, bushelfuls, out the window. The Midnight Express and my contracts all ended at the same time. We didn't get Laurel and Hardy. We were all together, right? And they always had me talk about the contract. So it's Bobby E. Stanley and myself talking to Jim Herd on the phone. God, that was miserable. I'd rather go to the dentist, have all my front teeth pulled out with no Novocaine. But at any rate,
I channel lock pliers.
Yes, with channel lock pliers. And we had been on a ridiculous contract with Crockett, because Crockett knew at the time that he signed it. See, he started renegotiating everybody's contracts when he thought he was going to get the pay-per-view and the TV sponsorship money and everything. Then he's in the middle of he already did the Road Warriors, and we're next, and he hadn't done anybody else's yet, and he finds out that they're broke, which he didn't know. They were $2 million in the hole until the bookkeeper went in and caught up that weekend, and that's a whole different story. No, in all honesty, yeah, he had no idea, because Dusty Rhodes was not stupid. And Jim Crockett was not stupid. They would not have spent all that money if they'd have known they were in the hole. That's where everybody's wrong.
Wasn't Dusty's money.
But Dusty wouldn't have done it.
Because he didn't blow it on his clothes or Gene Craig.
And Jimmy wouldn't have let him do it. It was a family. It was a family mom and pop business that got too big. They kept the same people. And the bookkeeper, and I remember his name, and I won't say it in case there's fear of libel, was an idiot.
And he won't be out for 10 more years.
And he didn't know. Yeah. He walked in one day. Sandy Scott was an eyewitness. There's Jimmy Crockett's door, right? Here comes the bookkeeper. Sandy Scott sitting in his office right there. Goes in, closes the door. 3 minutes later, comes out, head down, walks out. Here comes Jimmy, face white. Went from booming business to $2 million in the hole like that, because they wanted to buy another plane. So Jimmy said, Dave, find out where we're at on cash and everything. Well, this guy had shit stacked up in his office from 6 months before. He didn't know what they were doing. He said, everything's okay. No, I fucked. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, so Jim Herd, who's an idiot. Our contracts for Crockett had been ridiculous because he renegotiated and he found out he was broke. And he said, fuck, I'm going to sell. The fucking guy, he gave us more than we asked for because it wasn't going to come from him anyway, right? So we're on $200 and something thousand a year, but we didn't actually get it. And then we ended up getting 40 cents on the dollar when he filed bankruptcy, and the lawyer said, you better take the 40 cents.
He thought he was tough, too.
Jimmy?
Herd.
Oh, yeah. Herd thought he could fight.
He was a 4 foot 10 inch gray-haired 70-year-old midget
with 6 inches of hair. So it comes time to renegotiate our contracts. And I think this was last year we were there, and of course he wants to cut us. It was like 200 something thousand. He offered like 75 grand. I said, Jim, we expected a cut, but that is to the bone. That's an incision. That's not a cut. That's
amputation.
That's an amputation.
Emasculation.
So then it gets up to 100. And I knew what some of the other guys were making. They were kind of on the same level. And I said, no, I think, and I swear to God I said this on my mother's life. I said, Jim, I think that the Midnight Express as a team are worth more than that. I know what some of the other guys are making. I will take the 100 if you will give them 125 apiece. Well, I ain't like that. He calls me back. He gives me 125 and sticks with them 100. I said, Jim, no, you don't understand. The boys need to make more money. They're taking the bumps in this instance. Plus, they're my friends, and if we knew we wasn't going to be there much longer because these people, if it was still in business, we weren't going to be around them. So I want to get something. I said, look, I'm doing fine. I'll take the 100. They need 125. Comes back. I'll call you back. Calls back, says, give them 110. Give you 130. Jim. I swear to God, by the time it was over, the Midnight Express got, I think, $122,500 and I got 150. Was willing to take the 100.
You should have fired the Midnight Express.
Yeah.
You should have made 2.5.
Yeah. Every time I would say, I'm okay, but I got to have more money for them or we can't come and I ain't coming unless they come. We're all together. He'd give me more money instead of them. And I would. So then finally, they got to within 10 grand or whatever it was of what we'd originally wanted, but he gave me an extra 50 grand for doing nothing. And I was doing nothing differently. They put me on the hotline, but 4 people called that fucking thing. 1-900-WCW bite me, whatever it was. Nobody called that shit.
Heard called twice.
Yeah. He would call to listen because occasionally I'd hear something. You need to re-record something from somebody there, and he'd go, well, Jim didn't like it.
You know what they did to me? When I was at WCW, they gave me a hotline. Well, Gene would always have scoops and stories. I'm not into that. I didn't know what to do in a hotline. I had no idea what to do. So you know what I did? I told them I took pictures of the match last night, and I showed them pictures on the phone. I said, look at this one, the guy coming off the top rope. I know what they're listening. I said, no, wait, I got another one. You don't believe the guy ran in. See that? See how he's coming? I had no picture. I'm sitting at home. I'm drunk by the pool, recording this thing. I don't know if we ever had. They said it was the best hotline they ever had.
Yeah, you had to update it. And they put me on Thursday or some shit, and I actually ended up, they said I got more calls than anybody but JR, but you just call in, put an access number in, and update the thing, and just say any bullshit you wanted to say. And they never checked.
I was at Bunkhouse about Jimmy Golden, and with my favorite interviewer, Colonel Parker.
Robert Fuller.
And I thought,
God damn it, Ron Sylvia, give me that hat!
And those big feet.
Yeah.
And I saw him at Hawk's funeral. And I like Robert Fuller. He's a funny guy. He's a good talent.
Yeah.
And he came out there. He had the big E in his ring. Elvis gave me this. I mean, he was great. Entertaining. Believe me. Entertaining. And that's what I do. I would say that I was on Buck Snort with Buck Snort.
Bunkhouse
Bunk. And we're having a parade. And we went over there. And it's amazing they have no electricity or lights, but we have a fire, we're still eating, and everybody's pretty much drunk, and most of the mules are dressed up in clothes, and I would do stuff like that, and everybody liked that. I had no idea what to do. I had to do from 6 to 7 on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So I sit by the pool, get tank call, boom, I know what to do. They said, great. Believe me, nobody ever heard it.
Maybe the scary thing is they actually paid 99 cents a minute, and they were listening to it.
And then Oakland, I'll say this now, because I like Gene. I never told him this. He would always call me and ask me for, what do you know about Jim Cornette? I'd make up all kinds of crap I didn't know about anybody. Jim would say, thank you. I'll keep it on the slide. So Jimmy put on his highlight. I don't even know what happened.
Call me for the report on the scoop of the inside of exactly why.
No, right about everything.
Sources indicate.
That's the fun part.
Oh yeah.
Because nothing makes sense. That's like Charles Manson says. No sense makes sense.
Well,
and that's what our business is.
I tell the guys in OVW, you don't understand. Because all the guys now that come in the
Say
business.
what it is, OVW is what?
Ohio Valley Wrestling. OVWrestling.com. But anyway, no, all the guys that come in the business now are already smart from the internet. They think that they know how everything is done and how everything goes on and what all has happened, and they know enough to be dangerous. And that now, before when we came in the business, you would learn from scratch by having your eyes opened up to all this. And now they read the internet or whatever, and they think they know everything, so they come in and you can't teach them. I tell all the guys in OVW, this is not a show, this is not entertainment. You have to look at it as if it was really happening to you, and you react accordingly.
So what are you going to make it?
What we do is we make the preposterous posterous. So I say that for posterity.
And talking about your posterior, I'm going to say that
the king is dead.
the king is dead. No, when I went to the ring, I pretended in my mind that I really managed this guy.
Yeah.
You have to. If you just go out there and just sit in the chair and put your 10, 15, 20 minutes in, people will see it. It'll show your work. I loved it. I felt good, but I remember Guy Mitchell, the first guy I managed. He gave me the best advice. He said, this is the most rewarding and heartbreaking business you'll ever be in your life. One day, you'll pull up to the building, there'll be 10,000 cars. My God, you're going to make some money. And you don't. Next night, you're in a spot show, you think you're at 25, you get 30. He says, they'll break your heart. He says, you have to understand, that's how the business is. And that's what Guy Mitchell taught me. And that's the truth. If I didn't like this business, I have a brain, I have a mouth, I have physical abilities. I can go get a job and do something. Not much, I kind of maybe I was a peep freak or something. But no, I mean, you either do it or you don't. That's all it is. But they told me, most people want business.
Last night when I was coming to the ring and you were standing in the ring and I knew the people, I knew what actually we're going to have, and I was waiting for that because that, to me, was the enjoyment of the trip. Was not, although I enjoyed the payoff and enjoyed the fine accommodations and the wonderful Italian food with the mayonnaise last night in the restaurant.
There's Italian food and mayo.
Exactly.
I know.
But I want to hear those people react the way that I think they're going to react before I go out there, because then I know that I did what I wanted to do and I did it right. Because if I go out there and I think, okay, we're going to do this and this is the way it's going to work and it's going to get over and blah blah blah, and I go out and they react totally another way, then I think, I don't know what I'm doing.
Did you ever manage a guy that didn't like you managing?
I've managed a couple people that didn't like having any manager, period. Yeah.
Same with me and Rick Rude. I liked Rick's talent.
Yeah.
I liked his look. I liked the trunks with the faces. I liked the kissing, the mustache, the Tom Selleck look, Chippendales.
He wanted to be out there though a lot.
But he thought I tried to steal his heat.
Yeah.
And I told Kurt Hennig once. Kurt said, they went to school together. I said, if I were to steal his heat, I could do it every night. Because it's 2 against 1. I'm on the floor, he's in there working, I can run around, everybody can watch me.
You're loose.
I can steal all I wanted to. The only time I did my stuff was when he was selling. I never did it when he would, but he didn't understand the mentality of a manager, or what my job was. First of all, they use managers on top. They're not going to use the guys in the openers, right? So if you're with a manager, you're going to work on top, you moron.
And your package, if your package, not Rocca's package, but if your package has more heat as a combination than you might have as a single, then you're going to do better anyway.
We went to the airport in Buffalo. We were going to Niagara Falls, 20 miles away. So I see Rude getting a car. So I was going to take cab. I take cabs. They're the same as the car, price-wise.
Yeah.
But I don't have to turn the cab in. The cab knows how to get to the building. I don't. I still write it off on my expenses. $50 for a car, $50 for a cab. Same thing. He knows how to drive. I don't have to. Of course, I can go to gyms or restaurants, do whatever I want to if I want to. But so I was going to take a cab to Niagara Falls. So I told Rude, I said, "Are you renting a car to go to Niagara Falls?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I'll go half with you if you want." Yeah, I'd rather go by myself. A 20-mile ride. It's like walking across the parking lot. I said, no problem. So I went by myself. But he didn't understand.
Yeah.
Some people just are like that. He's a bad guy. But
Did I ever tell the Rick Rude story about the Dennis Condrey spot? When we worked with him in Louisiana, we had just come in, the Midnight Express just been put together, was put together. He's going to get us over, right? So we're working with guys, Lanny Poffo and Mike Jackson.
I'll listen to that.
Josh Stroud, okay. While Bobby Pease, hey, wait a minute, hold on. You're about to miss the can. We're working with, sorry. Oh, you're going to do it to me, aren't you? We're working with Rick Rude and somebody. And Rude's so green, he's got chlorophyll coming out of his pores. And Dennis tags in and locks up with Rude, and Rude gets a headlock. And they walk around the ring twice. And they walk around the ring twice. And they walk around the ring 3 times. And finally, Dennis just lets go, or Rude lets go and tags out. And the other guy comes in. So after the match, I said, Dennis, why did Rick Rude get in there, take a headlock on you, walk 3 circles around the ring, and then tag out and never do anything else? Dennis called to one spot. I'll shoot you off and drop down, nail Bobby, and get it again. Rude said, what? He said, I'll shoot you off and drop down, nail Bobby, and get it again. Rude said, what? Dennis said, I will throw you into the ropes. I will fall down in front of you, jump over me, continue moving, strike Bobby in the face, and return to the headlock. Rude said, I can't get it. Dennis said, fuck it, tag out. And for that, he wanted to be one of the greatest heels in the business. You know, Everybody, yes.
What was the last company I worked for?
WCW.
That's better than a prune days.
Did you remember after you took the herd to wipe your bish off?
Oh, I don't do that. I don't do that. There's no cleaning up this stuff.
They were asking about Vince McMahon's stories. He's got the gimmick where he has to push everybody in his pool at his house. If you go over, if you're on a creative team or you go over to shoot something or whatever, everybody goes in the pool with their clothes on. So I didn't know this. One day I'm over there. He said, something like, "What's that?" And Bruce Pritchard is there. "What's that?" What? Whose shop I go? So he gave me some clothes to wear home that were dry, and I got back in because I kept them. And
Sure.
actually, I should eBay them now because they're Vince McMahon's.
For some reason, yeah, they like to throw people in the pool. It's kind of like the carpets. They don't even know what the pool is. Let's go throw whoever comes by in the pool, in the cement pond. What? I don't know.
And we're sitting there, me and Bruce Pritchard and Pat Patterson, and Vince has to take a phone call inside. And Pat's sitting there and he's stewing now because Vince is always taking phone calls because, I mean, he's everywhere.
And Pat wants to smoke.
Yeah, well, but we're outside at the pool. But now we're getting nothing done because we can't do anything, you know. And so Pat's sitting there. He looks over, and the gardener, because there's always a gardener working on Vince's place. Jesus Christ, this stuff is like with manicure scissors. So all of a sudden, Pat goes around the side. Here comes Vince back. He sits down. "Where'd Pat go?" We said, "Oh, he had to go to the bathroom or something." Pat has gone and got one of those leaf blower gimmicks and fired it up. One of those diesel power jobs. Makes a big roar like a chainsaw. It blows shit and fumes in the air and everything. Diesel power jobs. Makes a big roar like a chainsaw. It blows shit and fumes in the air and everything. And now the other side of the hedge, we're sitting at the pool, the other side of the hedge, he's got that thing running and he's starting to blow, right? And leaves are starting to fly up.
As only Pat can.
As only Pat can. And
I'm talking about
thank you, Bobby. Yes, leaves. And he's getting closer and closer and closer. And Vince starts to go. And now the leaves are kind of coming over, and you can smell that gas fume, and it's really getting loud. And Vince is trying to write something down. And he thinks it's a gardener. He's like, "Hey, amigo, amigo." And all of a sudden, ram, he revs it up some more. This blows right through the hedge, right in Vince's face, all the gas fumes and the leaves coming. And Vince is like, "Hey, amigo," he's going to go kick his goddamn gardener's ass. And there comes Pat around the corner with the leaf blower.
You know, this is about smoke.
Oh.
Nobody smokes around here.
Never, no.
So we're doing Saturday night.
I've distracted myself.
You've neutered yourself. Live on TV.
Oh, shit. Well, just cover for me, Bobby.
I'll get the cover if I can. No. We're in Milwaukee at Bradley Center doing Saturday night main event for NBC. So Jesse and Vince are doing the broadcast, and Jesse comes in the dressing room, he's smoking in Vince's room, smoking a cigar. Vince says, "Hey, put that thing out, get that thing out." So Jesse walks outside, he taps it out, and he lays it on the ledge right there. So we get through with the meeting, and we all leave, and Jesse forgets his cigar and leaves. So I pick up the cigar, and I put it in Vince's pocket of his coat. Now Vince is smelling cigar all day. Now he's mad as hell at Jesse. He thinks the cigar smoker got in his coat. I'm not sure if he ever found a cigar. Jesse's no longer with the company.
Jesse was the first guy I ever saw. I think I said something to this in the restaurant last night to somebody. Jesse was the first guy I ever saw, because I'm a big Wendy's fan. He ate 3 double Wendy's, plain, nothing. Because I was a drive stooge in Memphis when I started. I picked the guys up when they came in on the weekend, Patera or Jesse or whoever's working with Lawler, and take them to the Saturday show or whatever. We go through Wendy's. I'll pay. Okay, great. Free meal at this point. For me is a big thing. He gets 3 doubles with nothing. He's on some kind of diet, meat and bread. I couldn't even do that. That's way too much cattle blood for me to get down it.
Hobo food.
But like he's keeping this physique on, you know.
Like a pickle when I heard him.
Yeah.
Or your onion.
Yeah.
In Newark.
Yeah, there you go. The bud.
But Jesse could eat. I remember when Sioux Falls, Rapid City, South Dakota, 6 o'clock at night, him and Adrian go across the street and have a prime rib dinner. And he has 2 pieces of chocolate cream pie, Jesse. going to the ring 2 hours. But then again, he didn't do nothing, so it doesn't matter. Guy could ate a moose and a Buick. Didn't mean nothing.
There used to be a buffet in Oklahoma City at Dr. Death, Ernie Ladd, Dennis
Ernie,
Bobby, Buddy Landell, Carl Fergie, myself, a bunch of, whoever the heels were, would all go to this place, and it was a classy hotel with ice sculptures and everything, $14.95 all you can eat. And they had the prime rib and all of the mimosa and all this fancy shit, piano music. And here come these fucking ragtag band of wrestlers in. Hercules Hernandez all jacked up. Here comes Ernie Ladd, 6'9", 315 pounds, stepping on toes and keeping on walking. Here goes Buddy Landell combing his hair with his back tucked under his arm. Yeah. And remember when all the wrestlers carried bank bags instead of wallets, right? He had the First National Bank, you know. Buddy's doing this number, and we all come in and sit down and they're having back there, they're shooting steer in the back, slaying cows, killing pigs, trying to keep up with us. We're eating a place out of House and Home. And they always, I think one of the guys started chewing on the ice sculpture one day.
He's at a place outside of Quincy, Illinois, on the way back to Kansas City. It closed at 11, and Sonny Myers would get there at 10 to 11. All the chicken you can eat. About 12:30, they'd ask him to leave. So every time he'd come, they called him Bones. Here comes Bones. And so he'd get there right before they called, and we'll stay there forever. The guy had to kick him.
You wonder, I'll tell you another Vince story.
Actually, I just used to go through the buffet and eat with his fork. Oh yeah, go bro. I said, you know, when he Polish is a gimmick. Go ahead.
No, another Vince story. The federal air marshals came to talk to him one time after he got off a plane. We're flying back from TV somewhere. We're going to New York to go back home. And it's fogged in or rained in or whatever. And, we're sitting in first class. Vince, because he got the ticket, and me, because I had the frequent flyer thing and upgraded, And they come on and they make the announcement, ladies and gentlemen, New York is fogged in or whatever. We're turning around. We're going back to Pittsburgh or whatever. He wanted more of an explanation. He stood up and said, oh, no, we're not. He goes up and starts knocking on the fucking door. I don't think he talked to the stewardess first. He wanted to know specifically why we couldn't go to this airport or that airport or the other airport, what the weather conditions were, what the ceiling was, what the visibility was. He needed some mathematics here. He was not going to accept just this arbitrary decision, we're going back to Pittsburgh. He was very polite about it, but he wanted to know, goddamn, some more information.
Same
It
Vince.
was hilarious.
I'm going to LA with Vince. Vince Patterson and Bruce and I. I'm sitting in the last row of first class. Vince is in the front, but Pat's over here, Bruce is here. So Vince says, as this one, would you mind sitting here? Puts him here, puts Pat up there, does everything, moves everybody around so he can get his bookwork down. I'm sitting next to a guy with a rickshaw and a turban. I don't know where these people came from. As we start to take off, I said, stop. And she says, what's the matter? I said, the pirate's in the back. Vince switched seats with him. So Vince looks at me and says, but he did have that command, didn't he?
Oh yeah, and he was, like I said, he was very polite about it, but he wanted further information than what they were giving him.
Yes.
And so, goddamn, we land.
You ever go wait for
The air marshals come and they talk to him, and he told him, he said, I just wanted to make sure they were making the right decision. They let him go. They're like, fuck, all right. And then,
You know why they didn't arrest him? Because they realized they had to get the suit back by 11.
we ended up, this may have been the same time, we ended up flying to Albany and renting a car to drive back, which was 100, and Vince is going to drive now. If he doesn't have work to do, he's going to drive because he's going to be in command, and it's raining, and he's going approximately 95 to 105 on the interstate in this rented Lincoln Town Car, and I'm in the back seat, and if you'd have stuck a lump of coal up my ass, you'd have got a 10-carat diamond out, because I'm like, oh God, we're going to die, we're going to slide off the road, No. Whew. Like goddamn Mario McMahon Andretti got us back in like an hour and 15 minutes from Albany to LaGuardia or whatever. And another time, I'm driving. I'll do two quick stories. I'm driving because Vince is in the back working. JR, I think Bruce. The only time that I can ever remember that I've ever left a hotel and left my wallet, I get pulled over for speeding. I'm driving, Miss McMahon, the cop pulls me over, and shit. Can you see your driver's license? No, you can't. Who are you? So I tell him my name, my address, it's on everything, all this stuff. So he has me sit back in the back, right in the car there, you know, I sort of stand back there or whatever. He goes up to verify the story. What's his name? Vince says, James E. Cornette. Which I got news for you. If you don't know by now, the E's a gimmick.
I gave the E.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
Your E's for?
After James E. Barnett.
Your E's for? Elastic ass.
Hey!
Not you though.
Oh, okay. That was the other one. But, and so now Vince has given us this cop another name. But then Vince managed to explain that it was my gimmick name and who he was and we're restless. So then the cop comes back and starts giving it to me. Well, this is real serious. We're going to have to, I'm afraid you're going in. You know, I'm like, oh, shit. And then I look up and I see him looking back, snickering. I'm like, fuck. He said, go on about your business. I don't even think I got a ticket after Vince finished with him. I think we got a police escort on it.
We're Wally Carbo from Northern Minneapolis, Ray Stevens and I, and Wally Carbo's girlfriend.
Oh, my God, I'd love to have seen her just once.
She worked for Hertz Rent-A-Car. Oh, yeah. Mm.
I used to know the owner of Hertz Rent-A-Car, Big Dick Hertz.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Cleveland did good business.
Yes. And we're driving to Dauphin, Manitoba, which is 500 miles north of Winnipeg.
Oh my
And Winnipeg
God.
is 500 miles north of Minneapolis. It's cold. So right there in the back, this rat is up front and driving, and Wally's just sitting there. So on our way back, so Ray and I pick up a case of beer and some wine, and Wally's got some wine, but we can't find the gas stations. So Wally says, pal, pull into town to the girl. He says, we got to find some place to go get some gas. So we pull into a hotel. So Wally goes in the hotel, cops pull up behind him. They say, everybody out of the car. They said, you have beer in your car. Who are you? I said, I was hitchhiking. they picked me up. So they asked Ray. Ray said, I'm with him. So Ray and I stand there. So Wally comes up. They take Wally to the car and they find him $250 for having open beer in his car and picking a hitchhiker. We went back in the car. We started driving. Wally didn't say nothing. We were driving Wally. After 3 minutes, Wally says, you fuckers. I said, Ray, it's going to cost us each $2.50 for the rest of our lives. He's going to get out of it. But the cop just didn't stand here. I said, what are you going to do? I said, we're hitchhiking.
One more Vince car story.
Sure.
Because I have in my wrestling library, I have a set of Vince's rental car keys. Because Vince has this, I don't know, you have heard of a Hertz Gold card, right? He's got either a platinum or a diamond or something. He can rent these cars and he can drop them off anywhere. He can leave them in a dish in the median on the interstate, 20 miles from the nearest town, and they will come and get it with this card he has. I don't know, I've never seen anything like it. So his habit of getting to a commercial flight is that you arrive up at the front door of the airport approximately 10 minutes before the gate or the plane is leaving the gate. So you're running. He'll just drive the car up on the curb, or used to before 9/11, at the baggage, drop off. He'll drive the car up on the curb and okay, that's where I'm dropping it off. And they'll come in. I don't know how much it costs him per year. Maybe he just buys them. I don't know. But one time he tells me we're running late, even late for him. So I'm supposed to drop the car off at a curb while he checks the bags. Well, I drop the car off, stick the keys in my pocket. I'm frantic because I like to get to the airport 2 hours early so I can calm down. I run to the plane, forget to take the keys, and drop them off at the Hertz counter. So about halfway there on the flight, I stick my hand in my pocket. I said, oh, shit. And here I pull it out. It says V.K. McMahon, Hertz, whatever. I said, Vince, I still got the keys to that car. He said, well, it's okay, pal. Where'd you put it? On the curb. They'll come get it. Okay. So I kept the keys. I put them in my library. I mean, he'd leave them at hotels. Not even airport hotels, just hotels where we happen to might be. If it was convenient.
Yeah, so he is. He doesn't care. He makes his own rules.
Any man who will fill up a brand new Corvette with cement will do just about any goddamn thing.
He brought his wife a brand new Mercedes, about $130,000 car, silver. He brought it to Springfield, Mass. So he parks it in the building. No one's near it. It's a windows car. Silver. So I got the makeup girl. I said, you got any silver nail polish? She said, yes. I just swipe it along the side of the car. So I said, Vince, somebody keyed your car. What? So he sends him a screw. He goes back. He's like, this is a windows car. He says, you better put a guard on it and maybe keep watching all day long. for the whole weekend. Every place he went in the building, he had a guard watching. So I went with a rag and washed it off. It was done. I never told him it was me or nothing. He still doesn't know unless he watching it.
which being all truth, I seriously doubt that he will.
And he wasn't involved.
And I wasn't even there.
Still pagan.
I wasn't even there. It was Owen. It wasn't me. I wasn't even there.
But, yeah, they're so easy sometimes to do things. It just happened.
Flair had me one time after Atlanta TV. He's going to stay over and fly to some far off place or whatever. He says, "Will you drive my car home back to Charlotte?" I said, "Sure, yeah, thanks, Rick. You know, it's the only time I'll be driving that expensive a car." I get in the thing. It's got like an eighth of a tank of gas. So I get outside the loop in Atlanta and stop at a gas station. I don't know what it was. A very expensive car and a very fancy car. I don't know what kind of car it was. I'm not a real big car buff. It might have been one of those. But I do know that it took me 30 minutes to figure out how to get the gas hatch open. I couldn't find the button, the release. I'm in the glove compartment. Now it's midnight. I got a 4-hour drive in front of me. I'm sitting at this gas station for half an hour. I got the glove compartment open. I'm reading the manual. Nothing will tell me how to open this goddamn gas hatch. And finally, I accidentally hit whatever it was that did it, and it sprung open. There were so many things on the side of the seat. I cooked myself. We're driving to Columbia one day. He's even got heated back seats, Flair. And it's summertime, right? And I'm sitting there, and I always sweat anyway, right? But I'm sweating a special. Jeez, Rick, can you turn the air up? Yeah, warm back there, okay, yeah. God, Jesus Christ, it's fucking cracked the window a little bit. It's not even that hot outside. I'm roasting. He had the seat heat turned on. He's cooking me. It's all individual controls. He could just heat my seat up. My ass is wet, and I'm back there. Jesus Christ.
He had his 50th birthday party, so everybody's going to go to Charlotte.
Yeah.
So my wife says, well, "When do we leave?" I said, "We're not going anywhere." I said, "First of all, Rick won't ever remember we've been there." I saw him 2 days later. I said, "Rick, what a party." He said, "Hey, thanks for coming." No problem. They never knew I was there. I said, "We're not going to go."
He gave me like, I can't remember, ridiculous $50 or $100 one time to come over and hook his VCRs up. Because it's not that he couldn't, it's just he didn't want to bother with messing with it.
Rick doesn't have a retention span.
He goes from one thing to another.
He just hops.
And then Bulldog Bob Brown said, no, it's like that, you know. He'd go. So I hooked his VCRs up, and then I think he had me come over one time to figure out his answering machines. Because he had like 5 phone lines in the house. I don't know.
You know how I first met Rick? I punched him in the mouth. He was a mark in Minneapolis. I was walking to the ring, and he came up and was messing with me and Bill Howard.
Oh my God.
And they came out to help us, guys. We had a little trouble, and Rick was he just was with the camp or something. And I punched him. I didn't know he was heavy like Dusty. He had brown hair, and I punched him in the mouth. That was a mark.
Oh, hi, Rick. Sorry. I watched the movie The Wrestler on tape the other day, and it was cool seeing that Ganya Robinson again, and there's Flair sitting there with the dark hair and chubby and all.
You remember the part where they bust into the dressing room and they Bruiser and Crusher they rescue Sam Miniker?
Yes.
And then they throw the guy through the door.
No, it was Sam Miniker was the gangster. They rescued Ed Asner.
And threw the guy through the door.
Yeah.
They weren't sure that guy could have done the bump. So they flew me in from Indianapolis to take the bump through the door. They only had 2 doors that were breakaway. And this stuntman wasn't an athlete. He had pads all over his arms and legs and bodies under his suit. So when they threw him through the door was here, the wall in the hallway was there. So he went through the door at 200 miles an hour and just stopped. But it was such a good bump the guy took, because it cleaned him, that they didn't do it again. So I never got to be in the movie.
Oh,
but
man.
When they break into the dressing room, my bag is on the shelf in there. So that's it. I flew to Minneapolis to do the movie. It cost me $300, and they paid my fare. But I stayed.
And your bag is in the movie.
And my bag's in the movie, and then
It was great just watching the clips, because Stevens was taking when it was the Ray Stevens bump, before it was the Ric Flair bump, before it was the Shawn Michaels bump, and he did it better than anybody. I don't know how the heck he did that. And just Robinson's style so different than everything now.
I told Robinson once, I said, everything you do is beautiful, and it hurts.
But of course, and Gagne still won in the end.
You know what happened with that movie?
Imagine that, because it said executive producer Vern Gagne. I wonder who's going over.
Well, he and all the promoters buy into the movie. Eddie Graham and everybody. Eddie Graham had a match with Wilbur Snyder that they took out of the movie. Eddie's got the governor of Florida, the mayor of Tampa, everybody at this opening.
Oh,
Eddie's not in the movie.
Because they mentioned his name, but they didn't show him.
Eddie told him all. Eddie did the movie part, but they cut it out. And he invested in it. There was all these people there.
Oh my God!
It had to be an embarrassment. But that's the movie business, I guess.
Well, if the guy puts money in, generally you can probably make the final cut. But I loved it when Ed Asner's secretary goes, "It's Jim Barnett from Australia calling about those bookings," or get with Kaniski and Murdoch about those matches next month or whatever.
Ed Asner saved my dog's life.
What now?
Ed Asner saved my dog's life.
How's that?
We had the premiere for the movie in Indianapolis. So we had a party over at Bruiser's house, and Bruiser has a pool. So I had a dog was a poodle and schnauzer, a schnoodle, all black, I call him Spot. And I put these little red pants on and a Dick the Bruiser t-shirt. So I brought him over to the party, he'd walk around. So we sat down. As he sat down, his ass was over the pool. And he went into the pool. Now he's got pants on. So Ed Asner reached in and pulled my dog, and I said, "Why is this dog wearing clothes?" I said, "He lives here." But that was it. Ed Asner saved my dog's life.
Oh God!
What an interesting life we've had. It's not over yet.
Have you ever met anybody else that could say that Ed Asner saved their dog's life? Lou, by God, Grant, who came that close to Mary Tyler Moore. Now, not even 6 degrees of separation, just 2. You were that close to Mary Tyler Moore.
Right. Ooh, let me tell you a story about her.
Oh.
We're at WrestleMania in Toronto, right? I go to the ring with the Barbarian. He's got a vest on with fur and chains. And he's got the pain. You know how Barb works, right?
Yeah.
Mary Tyler,
Another tough guy.
Oh, yes. Mary Tyler Moore and her fiance, her husband, are sitting in the first row.
Oh, Grant Tinker.
No, it was a doctor. The guy
The one after. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
And Grant Tinker was head of NBC or some CBS
Yeah.
sometimes. But she had this guy with her. She didn't really look that great. And there was Robert Goulet. He sang the Canadian national anthem for WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Oh, Canada, I'm sorry we don't use deodorant. Or something like that. I'm going through customs one day. In Canada, he said citizenship. I said United States. He said, "You have proof?" I said, "I have deodorant." And they let me go. She went, bang, bang, let me go. So Mary Tyler Moore says to me, she goes backstage with Robert Goulet and everything, so I'm standing, they introduce us all. And she says, "Oh, you managed that man with the fur vest and the chains." I said, "Yeah." She says, "Could I have that vest?" I said, "Let me go check." So I said, "Barb, Mary Tyler Moore wants your vest." He don't know who Mary Tyler Moore is. He says, "Can I have Mary Tyler Moore?" I said, "No."
No.
"But she wants your vest." "No." Someone back out, I said, "It's his favorite vest." I swear to you, I had no idea what she wanted that vest for.
What would she have done, I wonder? Well, you never know.
You never know.
Bart goes, he goes out, what was that movie Piper made? Body Slam or something like that? Okay, somehow or another, several of the boys go out, and Barbarian, hope I'm not telling anything to embarrass, I love you, Barb. Barbarian goes out as one of the guys in the movie, and he's at the bar at the hotel having a number of drinks. He's not really allowed to drink when he's home in Charlotte, because the only thing that the Barbarian is scared of in the world is his wife. And she won't let him drink, Sadie.
And she's bigger than him.
Yes.
And tougher.
And tougher. Barb gets mad when they try to close the hotel bar and decides that they're not going to close it. And when they reiterate that they are going to close it, he reiterates they're not going to close it by taking the beer bottles and breaking them all over his head, one down the bar.
Like Trump does.
And he's sitting there bleeding, and he's drinking, and he's going to continue drinking.
He's his night out of the town.
Yeah, so they call 17 cops who come in and try to plead with the guy, please leave, and he's not going to go. Well, yeah, they try to make him go, and they can't. They mace him, and he wipes it off and eats it.
He took it away from the cop and spread it and he kissed the cop.
Yeah. They somehow restrain him enough to get him. They can't cuff him because his arms won't go because his shoulders are so big. They finally get him to the car, and he starts headbutting the police car. And he caves the roof in, busts his head open again, caves the roof in, breaks the window out, whatever, headbutting the police car. And finally they get him to the jail. They have a doctor or somebody sew him up, and then he headbutts the wall and opens himself up again. And finally he's there for the night. And the next day he had to call Saney. Saney flies out from Charlotte and takes him out of jail like this. And he's going, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, but I'm sorry. One woman by the ear, right? 17 cops. He was a monster. I mean, the sweetest guy in the world. Great talent. I don't know why he never got a bigger spot than what he did for the way he could work, but he didn't
take bumps like the other Samoans.
He didn't project a lot of as violent. He's like Dan Severn. Dan Severn whipped 97 people in a row without breathing hard before breakfast, but he doesn't scare you because you don't realize how dangerous he is by looking at him.
I think this paint and everything looks silly.
Yeah, it added a little
Humperdinck. I love Red.
Yeah.
I love Red. What a stupid name, though. Sir Oliver Humperdinck. You can't get heat with a name like that. Sounds like a urine infection for a kid. You have Sir Oliver Humperdinck as terminal. I mean, I don't know what that means.
Is there any cure?
Oh, you're Humperdinck. And you're Oliver. I mean, I don't know. But we're names are important. You know, a great name? Johnny Valentine.
That was
Buddy
great.
Rogers.
Yeah.
John Studd, 2 Ds.
Yeah.
Those are great names. Cosgrove Versary is not a great name.
Well, you know my name test. I always told Vince, I give the name test when I come up with a name for somebody. WWF Championship, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. WWF Championship, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker. WWF Championship, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Doink the Clown. It doesn't pass my name test. If I can't see that on the marquee, I don't think that should be a name.
The clown would have done some business if you'd done it right. If you'd have made him an evil clown.
That's what he was supposed to be originally, right? And then they
He was good.
It was Matt Bourne was
Matt
the
Bourne.
original.
He was good.
He was evil.
Yes.
Yes.
And he laughed and then he looked at you, which is fine. We would send the agents up into the crowd with Doink. And Goulet is one of the agents. And he's on the 2-way. And the kid jumped the clown and he fell. And Goulet,
It was a long taping night and people were really rowdy and they were being stalled by this clown, right?
And Goulet sends word back to the world position. He says, the kids that jumped him, now he fell over. He says, the clown is down. Everybody just,
come in Berlin, the clown is down. The clown is down. That went on for years afterwards. Every time someone said a second, the clown is down.
There were 4 clowns.
Because they had like three towns a night running or whatever, so they'd start sending in.
There was Matt Bourne, and then they got rid of him for some
But
reason.
then Ray Apollo took over for a while.
Yeah, but Kearns.
Kern did it, Lombardi did it.
So I'm doing Raw. Now, Matt Bourne was the first one.
Yeah.
He's left-handed. Kearns is right-handed. So I said, notice, and then Kearns came out from under the ring. There was 2 joints. I said, now the one in the ring is left-handed. I said, this guy underneath the ring is right-handed. And then Lombardi's up in the crowd, right? I said, there's the other joint. And we all know he goes both ways. And then I was told not to say that very good. But it was nothing about his sexuality. I just made it a happy clown.
You know what? And if Doink, when he had Dink with him, had ever gotten a title match when Dory Funk Jr. was the NWA champion, it could have been Doink with Dink against Dunk.
Damn. I think we're about done.
I think you got to catch your plane. Hey, or did they put you on the Greyhound again?
No, I have to go, I take a cab to Seattle from here, and then I go rickshaw to Memphis.
Make that connection to FedEx. They're going to get you the rest of the way home in a box.
And Jimmy Gardner's find me.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, my friend.
Is that good,
Thank you
guys?
both, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome to Ring of Honor.
Most of you know about the hardest hitting, highest flying, most athletic action offered by ROH. But in case you have missed what fans and critics are raving about, here is your quick introduction to Ring of Honor. ROH features every style of wrestling, from bloody wars to pure wrestling classics. You'll see real characters and compelling storylines that won't insult your intelligence. ROH promotes pro wrestling as a sport with bouts of true skill. You'll see only the top talent. The future of wrestling is now, and the new style is being offered by ROH. You want stars? Check out Mick Foley, Eddie Guerrero, Jeff Hardy, Kojima, Paul London, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Masato Tanaka, Raven, Steve Corino, and many more on past ROH home releases. You want legends? ROH has hosted Hall of Famers like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, the Great Muta, Abdul the Butcher, Jim Cornette, and others. Current superstars like Samoa Joe, the Rottweilers of Homicide, Low-Ki, Ricky Reyes, and Rocky Romero, Bryan Danielson, the Briscoes, CM Punk and the Second City Saints, Dan Moff, BJ Whitmer, and many more make ROH the most talked about product today among those in the wrestling industry. If you get a chance, make sure to check out ROH Live. Now sit back and check out just a few examples of what Ring of Honor has to offer.
Cheering on. The fans are almost watching us in disbelief. And now we have a face wash. Oh, and he's taking off the already busted open head of Jay Briscoe.
Oh, and there's blood on the floor. I'm getting very uncomfortable.
Oh, look at that. It's pouring like a faucet. Trying to. What's he thinking?
Mark yelling to try to climb over the top of the cage.
Oh my God, look at that. The crimson mask right here.
This is not going to last much longer. It has to be stopped soon. If Jay Briscoe manages to survive, it has to be stopped.
Oh! Backdrop driver off the top rope. That's got to be it, Chris. I'm going on record.
New
This
world
is the
champion. No, there's Joe.
Joe's going up top again. This does not bode well for the competitor, for Jay Briscoe.
Look at Briscoe fighting. What an ace crusher off the top rope. The champion is down.
And the fans are going bananas here in the Rexplex. What action we're seeing for the ROH World Title.
This is the kind of effort that makes legends. This is the kind of effort that makes you from one of the great ones to one of the immortal ones. And we are seeing it from Jay Briscoe. We are seeing it from Samoa Joe in front of 1,800 fans right outside of New York City.
And the fans now got behind Jay Briscoe. How could they not?
What an atmosphere. You have to be here live to experience something like this. Both men toe-to-toe. Referee!
Joseph,
what? The lights are out! What's going on here?
I can't see anything.
What is going on? The lights, oh my God! Oh my God! What was, Homicide just fireballed Joe!
Homicide has just absolutely crossed the line. Somebody's at...
Look at this scumbag!
I can understand one thing about being emotional thing. 1 second thinking you're the world champion and realizing that you're not.
Homicide is snapped! Homicide thought he had the world title, and where did that fireball come from?
Look at the crowd.
They're shocked, I am shocked, and
Hanson's down!
He hits Hanson! He hits Brian Corey! Empty the back! Get the locker room out here! Homicide's gonna kill someone! And Homicide, he's cleaning house! The locker room is emptying! Someone's gonna treat Samoa Joe! And here comes everybody! Someone take out, yes! Look, everyone's going to Homicide now! He has to be restrained! And Joe's finally getting treatment!
Oh my God, I can't believe that. No, this is what we're seeing in our
I don't belong here right now, Lovey. I'm gonna go out there and get a closer. Oh look, yeah, I'm definitely getting a closer look. I see the Briscoes out there.
Punk, where are you going? All hell is breaking loose here in Ring of Honor. And Homicide is taking the whole locker room to restrain him and take him to the back. Samoa Joe being treated for that burn. Where did the fireball come from? Who turned out the lights? How did the lights even go out? And there's Punk. What's Punk doing? Punk and Cabana are jumping the Briscoes. And Homicide is tearing up the locker room right now as we speak. It's absolute mayhem in the locker room. It's mayhem out here. Punk and Cabana jumping Jay Briscoe. What's Mark doing? Mark! Shooting star press on the Second City Saints. The Briscoes and the Second City Saints are going at it. Here comes the locker room. Others are trying to restrain Homicide in the back. Artie's going nuts in my earpiece. Homicide is tearing up the back. All hell is breaking loose. I've never seen anything like this in Ring of Honor. What's Cabana doing? Asai moonsault. He saw the Briscoes and hit him with an Asai moonsault. What's going to happen with the Briscoes and Second City Saints tomorrow? Someone's got to break this up. Homicide is tearing up the backstage area. And what? Donna Marcos, they see the Carnage crew down there. They tried to stage dive in their match. And they hit the Carnage crew with the stage dive now. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Where did the fireball come from? A fireball in Ring of Honor. What is going on? How did the lights get turned off? Who turned them off? Was it a plan? What is going on here? DeVito going up now. He's looking for revenge on Donna Marcos. Hold on, all post-show promos are canceled. All post-show promos are canceled because of what Homicide is doing in the locker room right now. Jack Evans joins in with a dime of his own joint. He's not going to be one-upped. Hold on, I think Homicide's heading to this area. I'm out of here. We'll see you in Chicago. Oh, up on trying to maintain order in this one. Rave avoids that backbreaker and hits one of his own. Now he's going for a Russian leg sweep. No, Strong holds on. And now Strong takes him up. Oh, beautiful variation of a backbreaker. And now we have Walters and Aries going at it again.
Almost a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. And this time the referee being out of position hurts Generation Next.
As we have two factions fighting it out right now. Roderick Strong going at it with Jimmy Rave. And there's a Northern Lights by Walters. But what's Jack Evans doing? Shooting star press. Back suplex on the bridge by Roderick Strong. Shooting star press by Mark. Both men connect. And Mark going to the pin cover. Not quite enough.
Both teams now pulling out all the stops.
They've worn each other down. Mark Briscoe challenging Jack Evans in a battle of shooting star presses. Oh, you don't want to do that with Mark. Mark will fight back and hit harder than anybody. Whoa! Oh, what an angle on that back suplex. Mark lands right on his head, and he might be out on his feet, but he's scooping Jack up. Oh, cutthroat suplex. That's what pinned Omar Tortuga before. But Mark too injured to make the cover. Someone's got to cover Jack. Mark Briscoe might be a non-factor. Jark Evans will be a non-factor. And we have a Jay Driller attempt. No, Jay could not get him up because of his knee. Jay now trying to get that adrenaline rush. Yes, he's fighting back, using his last-ditch effort. Jay Driller, that puts them all down. And Roderick Strong rolls to the outside. 450 by Austin Aries on Jay Briscoe. If he can cover him, he's going to win the 450 pin special K earlier. Aries, though, he's too stunned, too groggy, too tired. Now he makes the cover. This is it. Here it is. Walter saving the day for his team, saving Jay Briscoe. And now we have Walters with the injured neck against Austin Aries. Oh, Walters cuts off Aries. Everyone going for their high-impact move. All men are worn down and tired. Oh, he dumps Aries. He wasn't able to hit it the way he wanted because of that injured neck. But Aries is still out. Turns him over, cover. This is it. Jack Evans with the save.
Both teams have had opportunities to win this match. Both times their opponent has been saved. You're going to have to isolate somebody, especially if you want to try to do it with a submission move.
And look at Walters. He was pointing at the neck. He's definitely suffered a serious injury. If he's having Hanson look at the neck like that, Walters might have to be gone. And Jack Evans takes out everyone on the floor with a springboard 450.
Well, that's how you get everything isolated.
And Shelley there goes right to the neck, drapes it across that top rope, which is just a steel cable. Double boot to the back of the neck. And now he's got the Border City stretch. That applies all the pressure on the neck. He's made many men tap with this. And there you see Rafe trying to make the save, but Austin Aries cuts him off. The Briscoes are down on the floor. Walters needs to make the ropes. It's his only chance. No, he tries to roll out. But Shelley still has a Border City stretch. He still has it cinched, and Walters taps. It's all over. Alex Shelley, ranked number 3, just made John Walters tap, who's ranked number 5. The crowd on their feet in Philadelphia. Generation Next has established themselves as a force to watch here in Ring of Honor.
Themselves as well as the two finalists. Both just tremendous technical wrestlers. Now he's going to block the leg shin buster into a backdrop suplex. Austin Aries, not only is he explosive, but he's explosive in combinations.
He's signaling for that 450. He pins everybody with it. It could be all over if he connects. Oh, Brad Danielson moves, but Aries lands on his feet and gets taken, his head taken off.
Boy, this crowd is just electric. What a match they're seeing.
You have one of their all-time favorites, Bryan Danielson, against a potential new superstar in Austin Aries. You have to be here live to experience something like this.
Just explodes with a clothesline. Decapitates Aries. That's going to be it. Hooks the back leg. No! Danielson immediately falls up to him with his advantage with a full Nelson.
Dragon suplex.
And with the high bridge. No!
And he's going for